Hello and welcome to Roleplay Rejects, where we play new and unusual tabletop role-playing games. We stand on the precipice of the 41st millennium, and in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Welcome to Wine About It.
Hello, friend.
I feel like I got it in. I don't know. Maybe I did.
No,
That's the way I did it first.
Respect.
Oh, yeah. You're also going to be editing it, so you can just cut me off and like you did all of my can openings.
Okay, they were not there. I'm sorry.
Oh,
They were not.
But they eventually were.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but they started happening, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
They live on
yeah. Yeah, you forgot to edit them out is what it was.
No, I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Hmm?
This one's still all silent.
No, don't destroy the illusion. We're recording this as they're listening to it. This is a live stream.
Live stream.
That makes us.
Live tubers.
We're
Live from New York.
Yeah.
It's Saturday afternoon. It is actually Saturday afternoon.
Oh my God, don't tell them. You can't date the episode.
Yeah,
I'm married, okay?
They're gonna know
I'm
it's
not trying to date anything.
Saturday.
Or anyone.
So, yeah, how's everyone doing?
Yeah, fucking great, honestly.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, I slept, as it turns out. I had been forgetting that step in, like, human needs. Yeah, so I went to sleep before midnight,
Whoa.
and, like,
That's
I didn't know that was
progress for you.
physically
felt
possible.
better.
Imagine not transcending beyond your mortal limits.
He
Yeah.
fell asleep before me.
Dude.
Wow.
I went to bed before him, but then I lay awake in the darkness for hours.
It do be like
I
that
get
sometimes.
that, dude.
I was so tired though, so it was dumb.
Joseph did that the other night too.
Yeah, I laid down, opened a video about coin collecting
Right.
And then he comes downstairs
4 hours later.
and
And I'm like, why are you still awake? And she's like, why are you still awake?
Yeah.
I was doom scrolling. But I knew I was going to be up for a while.
I had no idea. I thought, coin collecting, how interesting can it be? Now I'm a coin collector.
You think he's joking?
You're probably wondering how I got
He's not. Yeah. No, it's good. That's
Yeah.
Where does it rank in comparison to bird watching?
Right now, they're kind of, I would say coin collecting is the shiny new object.
Hey, I like to imagine that you're now just standing on a street corner asking for change so you can collect the coins and watching for birds at the same time.
He's got
Dude.
like binoculars around his neck, and then
Yeah.
like, nobody's looking.
Yeah. He's just got binoculars looking at the sky being like, change.
Dude.
And someone gives you $1 bill and you're like, no, thank you. Take this back.
Yeah,
Papers for idiots.
I obviously want metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Metal currency or nothing.
I looked into if you can franchise a Coinstar machine. I looked into
What? You didn't
vending
tell me
machine
that.
prices.
Oh, man.
I went down the rabbit hole. I was like, how do I get these coins?
Vending
Jesus
machine
Christ.
makes like a pretty sound. I eat. Fuck.
She's
No.
vending machine.
It doesn't. I didn't even mean to make it. Hold on.
She makes
the
them.
words were there. I did not put them in the correct order.
It happens. Ooh.
Vending-
That was me. Just kidding. It wasn't me.
Vending
Sounds-
machines are a sound investment.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say, but then I said a bunch of words
They're a coin investment.
vaguely related.
Scuts.
We can just like duct tape over the bill and like the credit card.
Yeah. Credit card.
Yeah.
And
Coins
coins
only.
only. Yeah.
Coins only.
That will never make any money, but you'll get like 3 coins a year. So
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
I feel like this is the villain origin story for Smaug, you know? Like he was just
Yeah.
like he started out by just buying a bunch of coin stars and then putting them in like, you know, in Rivendell.
But you
And he was
can't.
just like,
Coinstar
yeah.
owns all of them. Big
Yeah.
That
Coinstar
makes
big coin star.
will
It's
not let you
wild.
franchise your own Coinstar machine.
So you have to like design and build your own?
I think so.
Challenge accepted. Wesley, get on it.
Do we need like a metal detector
I'm a
now?
software developer. not
Yeah,
an
dude,
engineer.
I would love a metal.
Well,
detector.
develop the
I might
software that makes us
during those
get
4 hours.
coins.
My kid was watching a video where it's a YouTube channel where they just like make a bunch of like cardboard things, like cardboard houses and shit like that. But they made a coin sorter out of cardboard
Okay.
and like one motor that just kind of like zhuzhes the coins down. So
Wow.
that's a possibility.
And Wesley's over here complaining that he can't do it. They did it out of a cardboard box.
That's engineering, not development. You clown.
Okay. Well, you don't think you can make a cardboard box?
Not out of code. No, I don't. That's engineering. I hate people.
I'm not an engineer. I feel like I can make a cardboard box. Give me some cardboard. Boom. Box. Got it. Done. Call it a day.
Like this is my 1 episode notice.
You don't even need to develop it. It's just a cardboard box.
Did any of you have, like my family growing up had it's this big ass thing. It's quarters.
Yep.
Yes.
The map
I think
What?
of the United States.
Yep.
Oh,
And
no.
Over
I
the
did not have that.
years,
My grandpa did.
we collected
Mhm.
them, one for each kid. I don't know where it is.
No one
I don't know
does.
where it is. I don't know if we finished it. I don't know
Probably
what was
not.
done with it.
I feel like there are hundreds of those, thousands, millions maybe across the United States that have like 10 quarters in them.
Mhm.
We actually
That's a lot of money, though, if you think about
Yeah,
it.
$5.
Yeah.
No,
No,
yeah.
not
well, I guess it's
$5.
like a little less.
it's going to be more.
I'm so good at
that's
math.
what they were like. They're like, oh my god, this is gonna be worth so
250.
much.
It took me that long to do that.
People said
Yeah.
the same thing about Beanie Babies though.
It's true.
I lost
Uh,
Beanie Babies in the move.
I'm really sad we didn't buy that Beanie Baby the other day. I should have done it.
You should have.
You should have.
Was
I
that for the
should've.
yard sale? Is that what that was?
No, it was at the antique show, the antique store.
It might still be there.
It might be.
Selling your yard.
No,
Wow.
my mom was really cute, and she bought me this Beanie Baby that had my name, and it was like a cute little, just like a cute little guy. And we saw one at the antique store, and I was like, oh, I don't know where mine went. I should buy this, and then I didn't, and now I'm like, I should have bought this. Like, what is it gonna do? It's gonna sit there. Like,
Wait, did it have your name on it?
Joy?
yeah,
Yeah. Wait, the one at the antique store had your name on it?
yeah.
Yeah, you should have bought it.
What?
I know.
What are you kidding me? How did you not buy that?
Why didn't you buy it?
I bought a can of beer
'Cause
the
it
other
was
day
just
because I have my
gonna
name on
sit
it,
there.
and it's just sitting there in my room. I haven't even opened it.
Was your name
Oh.
spelled correctly?
No,
Oh.
but like
Oh.
it's like my
Oh.
mom bought it for me when I was a kid,
Mhm.
and
So
that's
it
like
was
why
like-
I was like, oh, this is so cute.
Dude, let me know. I'll rob it for you. I guess I won't rob it. I'll
well, I just don't.
burglarize the store.
If it's still there, I will buy it. I just don't know if it will.
Yeah,
be,
but if you
because
want-
antique stores, they have pretty quick turnover sometimes.
All right,
so.
guys, we're going to the antique store. Bye.
We're going antique.
All
Yeah.
right.
Is that
I'm gonna find coins.
really old ones?
By the way, I'm going to show my age again and point out that I'm old enough to remember when quarters didn't have states on them. So
I mean, yeah,
are
I'm pretty
we.
sure that's.
Yeah.
No, I am not.
When did that
yeah,
yeah, but this-
Joseph,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
it was like the mid '90s or something. I think when they started with the didn't they or was it 2000? I don't know.
No idea.
That sounds
I
about
thought
right.
it was like 2003 or something.
All
You're
I
the-
know about coins are what Joseph has told me in the past 48 hours.
And-
So
Coins are what I've learned in the last 48 hours. They
Yeah.
started in
So-
1999. They went to
Oh.
2008.
So we've all lived a life without state quarters.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
Yeah, but like, do you remember?
Yeah, because I don't.
'Cause- Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely remember vividly.
it was a distinct memory for me. So
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, dude.
What? I literally just told you about the weird books.
Yeah, I don't think I remembered being like, oh my gosh, there's states now. I think
It's the opposite.
I just was excited because there were states, but I didn't. I don't
Hmm.
think I knew that they didn't used to have states.
I think for most people, it's like if you see an old quarter, you're like, huh, weird. Because most of the quarters that you've seen have states if you're like
Mm.
relatively young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also,
See, I still see the state ones, even though that's like all the quarters, and I'm like, oh, a state quarter. And then, like,
I
even
do
though
like
it's, like,
them, though,
mostly
'cause
state
sometimes
quarters,
they
yeah.
come out with new ones.
New state.
yeah,
Mhm.
When was the last time they came out with a new state?
Ah.
Alaska, I believe.
No,
I thought it was
like the coin version. Y'all are crazy. When I was a kid, though, I really didn't care about the like coin itself or what was on it. I only cared if it had my birth year on it. That was like the only thing that was important to me. And like, you know, when you would find like change on the street or something as a kid, and it was like, oh, I would throw it back if it wasn't
catch and release.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's not my birthday, and then I'd get rid of it.
This is garbage. Like some people like don't pick up coins unless it's like face up. You only pick up coins if it's got your birth date on it.
Yeah, for real. But then I
fair.
would also pick up like every single piece of random granite,
every rock
that I found, and keep it in my pocket. So like, I don't think I knew what having a good opinion or taste was at that moment in time. Because
I'm just glad you didn't fall into a river. It sounds like you would have just gone right to the bottom at all times. Just rocks for the depths.
Probably.
Yeah,
rocks and coins with your birth date on them.
My collecting thing was shot glasses. I don't remember if I even had much of a choice in it. It was just, I don't know, parents were like, shot glasses.
You're into shot glasses.
Yeah, you're into shot glasses now. This is your thing. This is your thing.
I know you.
Your kid, unprompted, gave Joseph a rock and was like, will you like take this home to Misty? And I was like, I've never felt so loved in my whole life. He brought it home and he was like, she wanted me to show this to you. And I was like, for me? Okay.
A really cool rock.
Yeah, it was like cool. It was like flat and like kind of shiny, but in like a crystalline way.
Like where it sort of like has tipped off.
Yeah.
I think I know what rock it is.
Yeah. I was so excited about it. I was like, this is the sweetest
It's on our
thing.
windowsill.
She came in one day and was like, I got a bunch of cool rocks. I was like, okay. And they were on our coffee table for a while.
Yep.
You mentioned shot glasses, and I know what shot glasses are.
Right.
But I imagined having a different pair of glasses for every time you took a shot.
Jesus.
Can you imagine?
That would be fucking insane.
I guarantee you there's a frat boy somewhere who does have that.
If I
Wesley,
I went to college,
this is your new
hope,
YouTube like persona.
I'm one shot persona.
Oh yeah, your VTuber persona.
Yeah.
No.
Why are we doing this?
I guess it's like a different version of beer goggles. It's like a different meaning there. Yeah. Shot glasses.
Boggles.
Bro, you could have like a sick
Glasses.
merch store too.
Yeah.
Just like all sorts of cool colors of
Cool glasses.
different glasses.
You get the magnetic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
Listeners know what I'm talking about.
I feel like green ones would be for gin, blue for vodka, maybe.
Well, you have to do different ones every time.
Oh, it's just like each shot has to be a different glass? Dang.
Yeah, that's why I said just like do the magnetic frames.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. That makes way more sense than mine. Mine, I was just like going on vibes for colors.
And then you slowly go from like clear glasses into like a darker and darker tint.
Oh, yes.
Or trash.
They are not okay.
Yeah. You don't take off the last ones. You just put on more.
Then it becomes,
and that's how you can tell.
Can you stack until
alcohol poisoning?
Yeah, and but that's the thing is you don't get alcohol poisoning because you can't see the bottle anymore to pour a shot at a certain point, and that's what keeps you safe.
My heart would guide me.
Well, that's when you're, I mean, not all of us are like have risen above human embodiment. Yeah,
responsibly, please.
Are you guys ever like doing your skincare and then you're like,
Nope.
Okay, well, okay. You're looking in the mirror and you're like, wow, my skin looks nice, but then you're just like, oh, never mind, I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah,
it's upsetting because I get closer to the mirror and I'm like, shit.
Dude,
yeah.
first time I
Literally
read your
every
contacts, I was like, wow, I look like shit. I need a face mask.
You got your
Is that why you were like, face masks? Hello? Everyone, let's do face masks.
Nah, man, that's unrelated.
that does line up.
Yeah,
That's
Timeline
you're
wise,
totally right.
That's so
But now
funny.
my skin is the clearest.
nice. I just recently started doing like a face moisturizer and like moisturizer on my arms and stuff because my wife was like, "You're getting your face is dry and you're getting old man hands and crusty elbows. You need to do moisturizer." And I was like, wow, first of all, that's harsh. That like cut right to my heart. But Yeah, okay, fine. I'll start that. And I mean, she's not wrong. My elbows are nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Not lotion, but a different moisturizer for your arms.
No, it was like, I don't know. The one I had for a while was like from Bath and Body Works. And I still have I have their like daily face lotion from Bath and Body Works as well, which was pretty good. It's like, from the man side of it over there. But I need to get a different lotion. I'm probably just going to get like a regular lotion at this point because I'm not a fancy man. I just need not to have alligators on my elbows and not have old man hands.
I used to never
piercing damage.
moisturize like ever because I hated the feeling of it, and then
Same.
I realized that I, who is normally the shade of paper, was ashy, and I was like, oh no, that is not good.
Yeah,
that's bad. And then weirdly enough, my skin is not as sad anymore. It's not as itchy and upset. I was like, whoa, this is why you guys have been using lotion for so long.
Yeah.
The purpose.
Yeah.
It's
well,
not
the same thing. Yeah.
feel gross.
You just don't want the goop.
Yeah.
My skin doesn't have to feel tight.
Yeah. I thought it was normal.
Yeah, I was like, wow, maybe I just have sensitive skin.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do, but like, it's not as bad as it used to be.
It's so nice if I exfoliate and then I moisturize after a shower, and I'm like, look at me, I'm a new person.
Yeah, I feel like a new person. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I have been feeling this way all the time, which is not
my
true.
God.
You can't exfoliate every day. That will
Shouldn't,
not be good for your skin. But when I do, I'm like, I should do this every day. I could be a new person every day.
Yeah, I'm just glad that my elbows don't like scrape along the armrests of my chair anymore.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I've got like a much lower bar that I'm trying to reach than I think you guys are.
The worst feeling is when I hate having dry hands. It makes me want to murder.
In a sense.
Because then at least
Quick.
my hands will not be dry.
See,
Because
I'm
they
the
will
opposite.
quick, get
I don't
some
mind
hand
when
lotion.
my hands are dry, but like
I don't like
everywhere else,
The
I'm like,
sounds it makes.
Yeah.
When you touch paper, it's just like makes the sound, and I'm like, ah!
Hold on. Speaking of paper,
Oh,
Adeptus Administratum.
Yeah.
Warhammer, baby!
Got it.
We play games here. We don't just
About lotion.
What?
sandwich
What?
lotion. Call it
And coins,
mayonnaise.
Okay. I like
Yeah, baby.
what's going on with it.
Yeah.
Hand lotion, the mayonnaise of the body.
Yeah. He just said,
True.
he
Ew.
didn't actually say. Is it zipper? What's the zipper on the arm?
What?
What's that for? Is it a
What
pocket?
happened?
You guys both have cool
Yeah.
jackets.
What is that?
Is it the same?
What did you just take out
Brand?
of the bucket?
Are you guys the
Same
same?
brand.
I can't see. I can only see Damien's face.
Your problem.
Yeah,
Phil.
David and I get that a
I
lot.
know.
We look pretty similar.
You can't only see. You can't only see like half a Damien.
You guys look like so much alike. How was I supposed to tell the difference?
Yeah, we're both goats.
Well,
What are the
Yeah.
buttons for?
well,
You both have glasses.
they eventually will have like snaps on them. It was a Kickstarter, but
Those are sick, and I wish I had them, but I
Me
will now
too.
never get them.
Yeah,
This
I mean,
one.
I'm sorry. In all the excitement, I didn't even know what you guys are talking about.
jackets.
Oh, cool.
Those two are wearing
Well,
really
you
cool
can give us
jackets.
the listener's perspective.
Yeah, why don't you go stand behind Damien so I can
Oh.
see him?
We'll just
That's
describe them
weird,
in great
Phil.
detail.
No, it's not weird. I want to see your cool jackets. I want to
Oh.
be part of the team.
You can't.
Ugh.
They look
can't
really
see the
cool.
jacket.
They
You're part
look-
of the team, but you can't see the
So
jacket.
they look like assassins.
They do.
Except for
man.
Joseph's wearing a Barbie shirt under his assassin jacket.
as he should.
But other than that,
The vibe is immaculate.
No one's
Yeah.
Would you ever suspect Barbie as an assassin? No, but
Yeah.
she's probably done it. She's done like every
She
job.
has- She has
Only.
done every job.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
assassinations, Warhammer.
It does.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Warhammer.
In this
Hey.
job.
Wait, we reeled it back. All right, let's hold on. Warhammer, fucking epilogue stuff, guys. Yeah, talking about game story things.
Yeah.
we hammered that war.
Let's do it.
40k times.
I leave it up to you all. What do we want to talk about first? The game system itself, or story questions, or
I
yeah,
mean,
that.
Story questions?
We,
What? I don't remember. It's been so long.
I don't know if I have. I guess my question is more like not like story per se, but it's more like it felt like. I guess how much did you know ahead of time? Because it felt like you always had like, yeah, fuck it, we can go do that. Were you kind of, and I know we've talked before about like DM styles for like, especially like us in particular. Were you just kind of like, I'm gonna put them here, see what they do? Like,
I read this book,
Mhm.
knew that we were doing this campaign,
Mhm.
and I had like 4 or 5 visions that I needed to somehow stitch together. It was a ship
Bum, bum, bum,
docking
bum.
into a broken ship.
Mhm.
It was the planet Jespis Prime as viewed from space. So a bunch of storms, but then this like large disk kind of hive city sitting atop. Gene Stealer Cult Uprising and having to like navigate your way through.
I feel like that's like a must-have for you.
It had
Yeah.
to be in there.
He
Yeah.
loves jeans.
He does.
I love jeans,
Wranglers, Levi's,
jorts, all of it.
Jordan.
Words is wild.
Like some of us are never nudes. Okay.
Yeah, we're all wearing jorts right now, listeners.
Listeners, we are all in jorts.
And then I had
We're not.
another one of a planet with a satellite station above. It wasn't initially going to be like old world, like Archaeotech kind of a satellite. It was just a satellite because that sounded cool. There were 2 other ones that, because we did not have time, I wasn't able to include. One of which was you all trying to navigate your way through trenches, a la Call of Cthulhu.
I love trenches.
Where we were trying to navigate through that. And then the other one was sneaking onto a pleasure world where like nobles would go to basically do a lot of like
Overindulge.
Slaanesh
Yeah.
stuff.
Do basic things.
Mhm.
So it was more just a matter of stringing all of that together. That was pretty much my entire plan, and then it was just before each session, any new things that I thought up, I slammed together and called it a day.
Nice.
Wesley, hold on 1 second. Wesley, stop.
That was a good
You hear that?
one.
What-
Yeah,
Oh,
That was very clear.
what's the can?
It's a white
it's
monster.
White Monster. Yeah, but it's also
Oh,
in
you
my
can't tell
my
me.
Oh, that's what it
koozie.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in my koozie that is sized for a Monster Energy.
Looks like
can,
it's
which is
sized
great.
for pizza.
Yeah, pizza beer.
What was Solomon Tror doing with all the Xenos artifacts?
Collecting. He just likes to collect them.
Like
Okay.
even coins.
Oh yeah, I get him now.
Which I believe was your guys' trait that you gave him. Let me scroll down to it. Boone, Xenotechnician. He likes Xenos stuff.
Oh.
is
He
the note
cannot
that I have.
lie.
Okay.
Also, I just playing the Rogue Trader video game by Owlcat Games. Awesome fucking game, by the way. But as part of it, you're in the tutorial area, like walking through a trophy room of the previous Rogue Trader before you end up taking over, and that was just rad.
Is it your last save?
I do. I don't think so. I do like games.
They should do that. It'd be so
Like
cool.
that,
that.
that would be, but yeah, no, it's not your last
They
save.
do that in Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah,
Oh, they do.
that's cool.
Yeah, the first game. I don't know about the second one because I never beat it. But you basically fight God at the end of it.
Mhm.
And if you go to new game, depending on the ending you get, if you go to new game plus and fight God again, it's your previous character.
Oh, that's
That's
badass.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Um,
really cool.
It's sick.
Yeah, he was just collecting all of that stuff and likes collecting.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I get him.
I don't know what else could I talk about. Null 5. Yeah, he was just unknowingly heretical until he was too fucking insane to continue on.
Good.
What?
That's the guy that was Mechanicus.
Yeah, the tech heretic.
Mhm.
Oh, it sounds like a a really nerdy boy band.
Tech
Null
heres-
5.
Oh, Null 5.
Yeah.
Heresy.
that too.
It's interesting that you thought that was.
No, Heresy is definitely a death metal band.
It's like, yeah, it does sound a lot more like I hate the
I-
establishment.
I would bet money. That
I'm not
there
lawful good.
is a metal of some sort band.
I'm unlawful
Yeah.
bad.
Ooh, I could see Heresy being a punk band. I could see Tech Heretic being a metal band, and then Null 5 being a boy band.
Mm-hmm.
Adeptus
So.
Vibicus.
Yeah.
We should start a Warhammer.
You are so good, Phil.
No shot.
Heresy is an English hardcore punk band from Nottingham, England, founded in 1985 and active until 89. So
Nice.
Nice.
they released 3 albums.
Okay.
I promise I didn't know that, but I
was
did.
gonna say,
Dude,
I
You
felt
guys
it. I
are
felt the
number one
vibes. Yeah. I'm run their fan club.
You're like waiting for them to get back together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any day now. So
What else is there? Oh, fucking the lady.
The lady?
The
Oh, the lady at the end?
Lordess?
The goddess?
Yeah,
Not goddess, the lordess.
I had her written down.
I tried to write
somewhere.
her name down. I don't know.
In my head, she is still just the emperor, question mark?
Yeah.
no, yeah, she was. Well, I mean, I know the directions I was told to how to make him.
Yes. That was kind of like stemming off of that vision of the planet with the satellites above.
Mhm.
I was thinking like, well, I have to include Slanesh in this campaign because Wesley is playing. So,
yeah, otherwise you'd
And
cry.
that's my girlfriend, listeners. Back up.
so then I had an idea of, wouldn't it be fucking wild for you all if you just like showed up to a place and then boom, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Big E,
The
just kind of
emperor.
standing. And I was like, that's really cool. I wonder if I can get like a huge model of him.
Ooh.
And then I forgot. But Cyberite Morwenna was a Drukari
Okay.
with her 2 compatriots, Lilith and Xandria, who crash landed onto this planet before it got sucked into the warp, kind of putting it into a weird time frame where not a lot of time passed on the planet, but a shitload of time
okay.
passed around it.
So is that why everything looked medieval down there?
Part of it was just because there are worlds that have turned medieval after the Dark Age of technology, which
fair.
kind of like stemmed from most of it is why it looked medieval, but why it stayed medieval was because it was
Because AI's taking our jobs.
AI is
Yeah.
taking the job.
Okay.
They never
Um,
upgraded to great evil.
but crash landed on there, looked up at the stars. The stars were completely gone because they were in the fucking warp, the Imperium.
Mm.
So in order to like have fun and do Slanesh stuff, she thought up the idea that you can actually listen to on our character intro thing on the Glacial Geek channel, where
I know that
she's
guy.
talking about how the people of the Imperium would what was it, lick the scum off of a boot that has walked 1,000 worlds just because the God Emperor willed it. So
Yeah.
they're so easy to control, why not show them their Emperor?
But not me. Mine's a fortress.
It's true.
Like a steel trap.
I like to imagine that our campaign would have ended right there if Wesley hadn't chosen to be a psyker, and we were just like, well,
There
it's
he
the
is.
Emperor. I guess that's just the way it is.
I
Just
guess
like,
I'm
roll
gonna do
credits.
drugs with the emperor. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Roll credits.
That would have been wild.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
luckily Wesley said seagulls, and the rest is
what's up with
history.
all the things?
Yeah.
I really like. This isn't a question, but that model's fucking cool. Hephaestus, that shit is sick.
Yeah.
Honestly, every iteration of that model was sick, but that model's the sickest.
the
The big one.
corrupted STC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one I also wanted because I thought like what would be really cool to find on that space station an STC. Me at the time, I was like, oh, an STC is like, an AI probably. So let's make it like a corrupted AI kind of a thing that you'll talk with it first. You'll navigate the space station, and then it'll end up being like, I'm gonna
Surprise.
fucking murder you.
Time
now.
to eat you.
Death.
Yeah, dude. It's such a cool model.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I was very, very happy with how that turned out.
Mm-hmm.
That was super cool. Yeah, and Damien was like, I just need like a corrupted STC, and I was like, how about like an armiger? And he's like, oh yeah, and I'm like, like cracked, like the carapace is cracked. He's like, yeah, that'd be great, and like there's like a glowing coming out of it, and like more like mechanical than like fleshy like stuff. And I was like, cool. And then I started making it, and I was like, oops, I got lots of flesh. I apologize, but
It looks great, dude.
Yeah.
thank you.
I guess that's actually like my question is, how was it, Damien, to like put trust in Phil for like creating the look for the models? Because like normally if we do models, like we've been doing them ourselves, or I know a few times we've like bought them where they're like already how they're supposed to look.
Mhm.
And then vice versa. Phil, how was it doing that for the podcast with our various models? Since like, again, normally you're painting fully for like what you're wanting to do for your armies and things like that. Like, I'm interested in hearing that part.
Well, there's a reason that I like being a GM. Ultimate control.
Mhm.
Shut up.
No, but
Your voice was like, oh.
but it was a little bit weird, right? Because I, at the time, right, I had known you through Misty and Wesley.
Yeah.
So making like hoping that it would like fit the vision or even like expand upon the vision was a little bit nerve-wracking. But I mean, you were open to and like sending progress pics like, hey, what do you think about this? And it ended up being really good, and that was a lot of weight off of my shoulders, so I could just kind of focus on more story stuff, making sure that I know the mechanics a bit better. And yeah, and the fucking models are fantastic, way better than what I would have done, because I know that I would have ended up doing like rush jobs, and it would be like the tournament legal
Yeah.
Warhammer army kind of a vibe. So just like 3 pieces of paint on there and just being like, yep, we're just gonna make believe. at
No,
this
you
point.
should have come to me, and instead of Hephaestus, I would have got like 20 gummy bears and like heated them together and put it on.
Fun fact, actually, we had these multivitamins while we were moving from when I was growing up, while we were moving from Washington State to Arizona,
Okay.
and
okay.
these this thing of gummy vitamins was just left in the back of the truck.
Nice.
So when we finally got there, it was all melted together into just one solid
The bar.
mass.
One mega vitamin.
And did you just like take a bite out every day?
I would have.
No, I think
No, you
we
just
ended
take
up
it
chucking
once.
it, but
No.
You never have to take vitamins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, why pay for a subscription when you can just buy
Yeah.
the product one time?
Just take them
Which
one
brings us
time.
to today's sponsor, Redacted.
no.
You can't say real things.
sorry. We're not. Hey, listen, we're not sponsored by Redacted. We're not.
No.
There's actually no. I'm just
Editor's just gonna bleep you.
yeah. Today,
I don't want to do that.
okay, we're not sponsored by.
I'm just there's gonna be a blank spot, and you guys are gonna just not know. What we're
Actually,
saying.
here I got you. I got to use this. Redacted.
No, I'm not going to.
Okay. Well,
That sounded great, though.
thanks. I'm a
It
voice.
did sound
actor.
great. I just
Thank
that
you.
sounds like a lot of effort.
Yeah, I'm hated by my friends.
I might do it anyway.
Oh, I might not be hated.
I had to bleep out you talking about
Stop. Okay. Yeah, I remember.
I did actual bleep.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't remember. Nope. Whatever. Damien's saying stuff.
Phil,
Yeah.
How was it?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I was going to say, I know Misty said like, what was it like for you? But all of you had characters that you had created in your mind and had visions, and then you left it in my hands to create. And like, I was working off of like the descriptions that you were giving me, and I, it was fun to be able to like try to figure this out and find the pieces and like find the parts to kit bash together. And I, you guys gave me, some gave me more reference, some gave me less, and like I was just able to like, go to town on it, which was a lot of fun. Like creating the characters was a ton of fun, and then creating the final big bad boss was like a lot of fun. Like just because it was an interesting experience, because mostly what I've done previously has been building and painting things for game, specifically for like actual use in a game of Warhammer 40K or Kill Team or whatever it is. And this was one of the first times that I built and created something that was its sole purpose was to exist as a cool thing, and it doesn't have like a mechanical property to it. Like the base size doesn't matter, the proportions don't matter, its armament doesn't matter, because it was just meant to be like this cool representation of this big baddie that we had come to at the end of the campaign. So it was a lot of fun to be able to just like, flex my creative muscles and do all this, while at the same time being in contact with you guys and kind of like making sure that it fit, Damien's vision for the big baddie and your guys' vision for the actual individual characters. So it was a lot of fun. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I also really thrive well on like with assignments. So that's always been my thing. Like that's why, when I was a professional photographer, I did photojournalism, and it's like, it was assignment based. So it was like, go here and take pictures. And I'm like, boom, on it, and it's like, make a character that's a psyker and is also, buff as hell. And I was like, boom, done, star, got him. You know what I mean? And it's like, it was fun to be able to do that. So I really, really enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun for me.
How was it knowing what the big bad was at the end?
That was, honestly, it was exciting, because like it was like one of those things where it's like, ooh, I know something that you don't know. and then on top of it, I was like, I can't wait to see your reactions. And the way it worked out, that you saw the big, like the what you thought was the big baddie, which was the Drukhari models that I had done. I had made those had been in Rejects HQ since the first time I came. So like since the first time that I came with any of the models, like Damien had those ones hidden there since then. So I came with the other big baddie this time when I came, and when Stevie was like, "Oh, that's what I couldn't see when you put down the Drukhari," and I was like, "No!" In my head, I was like, "Yee!" Like I was like, I can't wait for you guys to see this. So, and then when it came out, and you guys were like, "What?" and I was like, "Yeah!" So yeah, it was fun. It was fun, and it's like, it's also one of those things where it's like maybe that's just me, but I've always had a very easy time like distinguishing what my character knows and what I know, So I also by that point in the campaign had a pretty good, solid idea of like of Gore and like what he would do and how he would be and like what his reaction would be to all the different stimulus, without being like, oh, I'm gonna prep my big bad monster machine killer right now because that's definitely what I need. You know what I mean? It was easy enough for me to like put that aside and be like, no, I'm just like, he's on a mission, he's doing his thing, and then it's like, even if Phil wasn't surprised, Gore was. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
It was really awesome being able to have the unveiling of the things that you painted.
Yeah.
Like we usually get pretty excited when we do that normally, just together, like, whoa, that's so cool that you painted that. But it was kind of, at least for me, like next level, because other than like the descriptions we gave you, I had no idea what to expect. And having them be like, I don't know, just so well done. I don't know. It was really cool to be like just an added element of like something to look at while we're playing. And I don't know, for me, a lot of the time why I like painting my minis for our games is because I like to be able to make it my vision, like my personality for that character. And so even though I was excited to get something painted by you, I was like a little nervous. I was like, normally this is my job to do my own minis.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really cool because it like turned out so well, and the kit bashing was an added element that I would not have even thought to do myself. And I would have been like, well, like this is like kind of what I'm supposed to look like, but like ignore this part of it because I don't have flame
a giant sword on my back.
Yeah. So it was really cool to see how like unique they were and how like spot on it felt. I was like, oh, that's not necessarily how I would have painted it, but that's exactly how she's supposed to look. Like, I didn't know it, but like it is. And then every time I looked at these cool minis, I was like, oh man, look at our friend.
Look at him go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it because for me it was fun just because like we said the whole time, like all the minis you made are super duper ultra mega sick. Got to get some Dayquil. Today's sponsor. Sorry, I'm done. I'm done.
He's not.
But it's really cool because it's like I was just always reminded, like obviously like you're also like you've been in the campaign with us as well, and we've been having a good time. But it's also cool because I'm like, oh, this is like your side of a lot of it, right? Like a lot of your content is like kid bashing and painting and preparing for war on the tabletop, and so it's like it's cool to be able to interact with you, one at the table, like playing with you, but also see like your work reflected in the game I'm playing currently. Like it's a really cool interaction, I feel like, and it was really cool to experience.
Yeah.
And I was thrilled that I could do this. Like this was a ton of fun, both because you guys obviously have way more experience with like role playing, especially from a content creator perspective than I do. I grew up role playing, but I never did it kind of for content, which is it's a different beast, like trying to do something for content, like just so it was really cool to be able to come in and see what you guys do and then be a part of that, and then also be able to bring what I feel is one of my strengths to the table to in return to make it a back and forth, which was great. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Now I would like to bring up the very end. Just real quick aside.
So I feel like that's going to transition into other game stuff. I have another like silly Willy Billy question first. That's going to be really quick.
Yeah.
The Super Ultra Mega Inferno gun.
Yeah.
How does that? I'm curious because that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
How does that compare in like total weaponry? Is it like third strongest weapon in the game? Is it like mid tier? Like, you know what I mean? Like what is it?
It's up there.
Okay.
It's definitely
I would hope
one of
so.
the stronger weapons available.
Because if it's like F to S rank and you're like, oh, this is just a B rank gun, I'd be like, B rank gun? Who are we fighting? God? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, if I remember correctly, it's like a very rare
exotic.
Yeah, it's exotic. I think.
Weapon, and then with like 16 damage, it seemed like it was one of the higher damages.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
So on the tabletop, an Inferno pistol is basically a handheld melt-a-gun. So you've got melt-a-gun, which is, or you have the Inferno pistol, which is the pistol version of a melt-a-gun. You have a melt-a-gun, which is like the handheld, like the rifle kind of version of it, and then you have like a multi-melta, which is like an even bigger version of the melta.
Volcano.
Yeah, and like all three are designed. Well, no, you also have a volcano cannon, which is like a knight
That's what I want.
walker would have.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, volcano cannon is like weapons that a Titan has, and it's like
Those are so scary.
they are.
I remember them.
Boo. That's good. Yes, I got what you were saying.
To answer your question, it is tied for second strongest.
Okay, that sounds
ranged
right.
weapon. It is the Inferno pistol, 16 damage, short range, exotic, close, loud, rend 5. And then tied with it is a melta gun. There is no multi-melta in here because that's more like Space Marine level.
Yeah.
But the melta gun, 16 damage, medium range, loud, rend 5, two-handed. There is one that deals more damage.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
The las cannon. 18 damage, heavy 4, loud, penetrating 10, and
Wow.
two-handed. A las cannon,
Two-handed?
fucking wild.
It would have to be with Ren 10.
Yeah,
That's
true.
crazy.
Yeah, usually it like on the tabletop, like Space Marines can carry it like a rifle, but like it's usually like with the Astra Militarum, which is like the Imperial Guard, so like the regular human soldiers. It's like a squad weapon, so they've got like it on a tripod that they're like, shooting,
so
trying to
cool.
take down tanks. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, the Gene Stealer's mining laser would be just like one step below like las cannon and power. It's still really fucking strong. But
Yeah, I think story-wise, since I got it off of an Inquisitor, like that makes sense. Inquisitors usually have really cool weapons, but like mechanics wise, that's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Literally burning them
Yeah.
the fuck up.
Yeah.
But that's also why it's also short range. So like, like whereas a las pistol or like a, stub pistol, like they're medium range, so you can shoot them like a little bit further away. The whole idea of Melta is that it's like shorter range that you have, like you get up there and it's just like basically melting through things. So
So cool.
Yeah, the last cannon is extreme range because why not?
yeah, it's like it's like a mounted weapon.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love
That's
lasers.
wild. I love lasers.
They're cool. They can do so much.
I agree. The statement's funny.
Was there anything else that we wanted to talk about before I talk about end?
No, go for it.
Not yet. I'm sure it'll come up later though.
So now I do want to talk about the very end here. So at the very end there, we had surprise betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
I do need to caveat all of that. You know how partway through the campaign, Gore and Star went ahead and had a duel, and what was the thing that you asked very specifically, Wesley?
I don't remember the exact words, but it's something along the lines of, "Hey, you cool with PvP?"
That statement is really fucking important. Guess what I did not include?
Was it something like, "Hey, you cool?
Hey,
with-
you guys cool? You guys cool with betrayal? You guys cool with some PvP? Some very imbalanced PvP?
That spell was it,
Dude,
It was
balance doesn't matter. We've played Call of Cthulhu.
That's
That's fair.
Yeah.
Cthulhu would probably make that spell look dumb. He'd be like,
That's probably.
Yeah.
But
all joking aside, though, that is a very important piece that I did forget to or neglect to ask all of you before kind of springing it upon you. So I do apologize for that. When you are, this is probably going to be a topic for a future rambling at some point, but it is important, just like with any impromptu PvP, with something planning like this, it is okay to ask your players about it. I mean, if it's the nature of the game, maybe approach it differently of being like, hey, this game has a lot of, betrayal in it. Are we all cool with that? And something like this, though, I think that the best option would have been to, do correct me if I'm wrong here, but better option would have been to, before we started that final session, me bring it up, make sure that we're all okay, because I very well could have just had the thing stand back up and that be the final fight.
that would have been equally terrifying.
Oh,
We're good.
yeah,
I would've
oh,
hated
I would have
that.
cried, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, also like doing one of those things where if you just have at the beginning of the session, you're just like be aware that like there may be some betrayal. That could be Solomon Tror, just like he has like a device on the shuttle that's supposed to be taking us. Like we as the players know that it's going to happen, so it doesn't have like you don't feel like, we as players don't feel the betrayal, but like our characters can still feel the betrayal, which is exactly what you want in those kind of games. So
Yeah, I do. That was crazy. I was like watching you from whatever.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was too. It's your
Oh.
turn.
Fuck, was it? Oh yeah. I do want to caveat this, or like add the asterisk or the addendum or whatever the thing is. I think betrayal is one of those topics in TTRPGs, and like you said, there's probably a rambling later. No one knows what that is but us.
Wait, yeah.
They will know.
They will know.
By now, maybe.
Maybe.
No, probably not.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
wow.
Betrayal, right? I think betrayal is one of those weird topics where I think if you asked like probably like 20-ish people how much they want to know if there's going to be like character betrayal like between players, you probably get at least 12 different answers. Like
Yeah.
some people are very, and I personally fall into this camp where it's like I would rather know most of the details, if not all the details up front, so I can like kind of like you were saying earlier, Phil, I can separate Wesley's knowledge from any character I'm playing's knowledge.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just roleplay better if I'm not like put on the spot with like, fuck, now I gotta do a backflip. But also, like, that being said, like, we are very like, we tend to be more like story driven, more like we want to be dramatic and fucking act
Mhm.
and be like, wow, number 2. And so it's like, I think that way of thinking kind of lends itself to those groups. There are groups that are just like, they are players and they just only want to care about their own character, and they enjoy not knowing shit, and when shit happens they can just fly off the cuff and be like, I'm gonna beat your ass, and like just do that fast. You know what I mean? Like just it doesn't affect them as much.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all that to say is like, I do think a conversation, generally speaking, about like, hey, how do we feel about you know, like PvP betrayal, secrets between players, like how do we feel about that in general, is a very nuanced topic, because I think every table would probably have a different opinion.
Yeah, and a different opinion per game, per situation, you know. So it's one of those things that should be like an ongoing conversation, whether it's betrayal, PvP, relationships, flirtation,
taxation.
any of that type. Yeah.
Without representation.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also the fact that, like I talked about earlier, like in this situation, you guys are creating content. You know what I mean? And at a certain point, as much as you guys want to have fun, and you guys are you know, presumably, I mean, I had fun. I presume you guys also had fun, like during the campaign. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, Wesley's actually a jock, doesn't like any of this nerd stuff. But you know, you guys are creating also like an entertainment product. So you want people who are listening to be entertained by it. And at a certain point, like, your entertainment comes from being able to make something fun and entertaining for other people to listen to. And at that point, like, a little bit of outsider meta knowledge allows you guys to better prepare yourselves to be the actors for them to hear. So as much as you're actually doing an actual play of the game, you're also creating something that you want other people to enjoy listening to. And sometimes that means that you have to have like that predetermined knowledge, so that you're not just sitting there flipping through books looking for the perfect spell, like in the middle of it, you know what I mean? Or it's that you know that there's something coming, so that you can have your character ready to respond dramatically and appropriately.
Yeah, dude, the whole like, Drusilla, you're just the best friend I know.
Yep.
Can you imagine that whole episode be like, wow, Drusilla, I'm glad you're here. I trust you with my life.
It's great that you're
Yeah, Drusilla, exactly. Drusilla, I finally trust you as I always knew you wanted me to.
So you guys did not get to hear the dream sequence that Drusilla had, but not to brag, but it's some of my finer work.
Stevie nodded.
She emoted. She said
was
that
like-
shit was peak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even said it at the end. I'm like, I didn't want to interrupt earlier, but that was sick.
So if you haven't yet, dear listener, head over to our Patreon. It's available to the public, but it's one of Drusilla's side sessions.
Dear listener.
Dear listener.
They're just a listener, okay?
I mean, maybe to you, but to Damien,
I prefer
Maybe they're not
your
even
friends.
listen.
I prefer to talk to the rabbit listeners, please, not just the deer listeners.
But when you say public, you mean like they don't even have to sign up?
You don't have to sign up. If you do, that'd be really sick. But yeah, it's on there, available to the masses.
That's you guys. Yippee.
Do you guys have a tier yet where if they sign up, that they get sent a bar of deodorant?
No, but we do have a tier where they'll get sent a signed certificate stating that they are not stinky,
Yeah.
Mm,
which is arguably better.
that's true.
Yeah.
It's
Although
signed by us.
That's fair. That'd be cool. I do feel like a Roleplay Rejects branded deodorant would be an hilarious tier.
Well, there may
We
be
could look
something in the
into it.
works.
We do have something adjacent
Yeah.
Oh,
that's going to be coming out eventually.
wow.
Yeah,
I'm not even
fall
privy
line.
to that.
Yeah.
Fall line, is that what you said?
But yeah, so like in the dream sequence, go through and I mean, I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit about your character. Feel free to interject.
Oh yeah, hey,
She's nodding.
we probably should have said this at the beginning, but like
Spoilers.
probably spoilers. This is the last episode, so if you haven't listened to
Oh, this
anything,
is-
don't listen to this. Goodbye.
Yeah, it's called the Epilogue So that's your fault if you haven't figured that out. It's also after all of the other episodes.
But the other ones are on Patreon, so maybe they like
No.
somehow.
No.
No, they're not.
What?
Well,
This is not a Patreon exclusive. This is
No.
free to all.
We're confused. We're
The
confused.
Drusilla stuff is on Patreon.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's what I
Drusilla-
meant.
Oh.
So
yeah,
like,
but like
if-
we mention it in the.
Yeah. This is your one warning. If you haven't listened to the Drusilla stuff on the Patreon for free, you're trolling. Go back or subject yourself to spoilers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drusilla, how many people have you killed?
All of them.
7.
Prior to the whole thing was 7.
Prior to
The
the
campaign.
campaign was 4.
It was 4. Oh, weird. How many chaos gods are there again?
Whoa, she killed the Chaos Gods.
So you killed your first one, and what did you gain from that?
She's emoting.
Blood
Sorry, I
powers.
had crunchy in my mouth.
I remember the story because I got to edit it with the painting.
Yeah.
You got the blood powers.
Okay, I didn't get blood powers. Okay, makes it sound
You did.
She has
I remember the blood powers.
no.
Yeah, the blood rage.
It was I got the pendant, my corn pendant.
A corn pendant, which
Symbol of
strangely made people around them a little bit calmer, a little bit easier to communicate with. Wait, that's weird because that's kind of the opposite of corn. Well, as a little thing in my back pocket, that amulet absorbs aggression from the unworthy
Okay.
and would have spawned bloodletter, bloodthirster, kind of depended on how I was feeling at the time that I wanted to unleash it. Then you killed another one and gained a bird pendant of Zinch.
Shiny. It's
Put a bird on it.
Color shifting
Mm.
kind of look to it.
Then you killed your third, where you got not a like physical item, but a strange scar on your arm covered in bandages that had what was it, three little dots on there, kind of symbol of
Three
Nurgle,
circles.
kind of a vibe to it. And then finally, your final kill that actually got you the boarding pass, you stole the dagger from the guy, which was a Slanesh dagger.
Oh, yeah.
So got the Slanesh dagger from this guy. So she's had that all with her this entire time.
It's fucked up. You didn't share that dagger.
Why would I share that dagger?
Dude, I shared the hilt.
No, you
Yeah.
didn't.
But I would have if I knew you had a Slanesh dagger. Like,
I didn't know it was a Slanesh dagger.
oh, valid. I didn't know it was a hilt.
You
Sorry.
did.
Go on.
So this whole time, Drusilla, being from a different planet, migrated over to a planet, and then or Persepolis actually, and then during one of the Drukhari raids, her parents were killed. She, as a child, went down into the Underhive, and then grew up there. This old woman guiding her to these different kills. This old woman, being a chaos cultist,
Okay.
kind of leading her to this. But because Drusilla was from the Underhive, did not have a full grasp of what the fuck she was dealing with, really. So when it came time for one of the disappearances, in which she woke up in her room, but it wasn't her room, and she ended up murdering a few people, that was the amulet kind of leaking out and filling her with aggression a bit.
Oh, okay.
Then it was moving on to that other Zinch cultist who like took that body and like engulfed him in flame and everything, and the bird statue reacted to it because it was Zinch oriented. Then came time for the dream sequence, in which she basically went through like, you're just gonna have to listen to it 'cause it's fucking good.
Cinema.
But it was like dream logic, kind of going through these different areas that felt more aligned to certain chaos gods. And then finally at the end, she found herself in, I believe it was a stone room with 4 different pedestals on it. She had all of her gear finally back. And she was able to exert her will enough to potentially open just a door out if she wanted. So kind of giving a physical representation of the choice between chaos gods or just to fucking leave.
Hmm. That does sound like cinema.
That's really cool.
Mhm.
You know what she chose there.
Yeah.
So at that end sequence, a demon kind of parasite thing was riding along, waiting for the right moment to take control.
Hmm.
Also, I'm gonna say this. I didn't. Well, at first, I don't think I understood that I had the option of not.
Not chaos god.
And I was like, no, wait. Yeah, but I was like, chaos. I've been wanting to know more about my stuff that I stole from people I killed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
You want to know more about the
Curious.
chaos?
Yeah. And then I found out. Too much.
I have a question.
Mhm.
This kind of goes back to like the planning stuff. I could be misremembering, but when we first got introduced to Solomon Schroer, he mentioned that he like knew about all of us individually.
Mhm.
How much did he know about Drusilla?
Not much.
Huh?
Not much.
Not much? Okay. I just wanted to know if he was like, yep, she's
Yep,
cultist.
she fucks with chaos,
but like
but
she
whatever.
works for me, so it's fine.
So
you know?
chaos basically
Yeah.
works for me.
Yeah.
In one of the cutscenes, I believe I was trying to hint at his divine psyker,
Mhm, I remember
Fiona, like poking and prodding, and all that Fiona was able to gain from Drusilla was a dark aura,
Mm-hmm.
and that was kind of it.
Couldn't get shit from me. Steel trap.
Instead,
Sorry, the sound.
instead for you, it was more the people around you that she had to, or like people that you've interacted with before. Also, you're a lot more documented, given that you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had your entire dossier from the Astra Militarum. So
Yeah, but on my thoughts, steel trap, baby.
Yeah, I
Cool.
thought that was a really cool thing there.
Very cool.
What else? Oh, your hilt that you ended up getting, that was off the cuff.
That shit was cool as fuck. Not gonna lie. And I don't use the phrase cool as fuck often, but that hilt was fucking sick.
Yeah,
I say you use that term a lot. So I'm
Yeah. Daily.
What?
Adam,
That's not true.
I heard you use that to describe a cup of milk the other day. So
I hate milk. I would never say that unless it was really cold.
yeah, exactly. And you're like,
Then I would say
Yeah.
cold as fuck, not cool as fuck.
I don't know.
Wild.
and then for our Electro Priest,
Yeah.
I am sorry that it ended up coming at the end, but
it's all good.
I saw that vision of like getting these other Electro Priests that like pull in the storm and feed it into
Yeah,
the,
that was really cool.
That is cool.
so you getting access to that. The book does not have anything about Electro Priests.
Oh, really?
Whatsoever.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
sad face.
I
But
had to make you homebrew.
yeah, and
Oh,
shucks.
no.
Oh, dang.
David hates doing cool stuff to his game. Like his least favorite thing to do.
yeah.
And
And
then for Alara, I didn't have like a whole overarching story for you so much. It was just kind of like those key moments.
Yeah,
in
no,
there.
that was sick.
Mhm. It was sick
I
to
don't
watch.
need an overarching story.
If I were to redo our like final cutscene thing, it would be you getting onto a ship heading to Inquisitor Beck,
Blanks, blanks, blanks.
because I'm just assuming that that's probably where Alara would want to go.
Mm. Yeah, probably.
Beck?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
I-
Gore would be
Oh.
alone.
Who
then
knows?
Gore would
No,
be
none
alone.
of us actually knew anybody's names
Yeah.
this whole campaign. So
I had Alana and Alara. I specifically used them if we were in the team. It was Alara. If we were out in public, it was Alana.
that is true.
Boom.
I never know.
Yeah.
So I put notes sometimes when I put her name in the description to be like, or I just tell Misty, please tell me if this is the wrong name to you.
And then I edit it.
I wish you hadn't made them so similar.
You just gotta call
I
everyone
mean-
bro.
My thought process was rebooting. One of the dumb things in the Eisenhorn books that is like not giving any spoilers away if you haven't read them, but like one of the dumb things is that like when he uses his aliases, they're like basically his name most of the time. It's just like slightly altered. It's like when somebody wears sunglasses and now they're a different person, or like they put on a mustache, new
Yeah.
human.
The Superman effect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I always thought it was so dumb, but like it's really funny. And like in the books, at least for me, like I thought it was hilarious because he's a pretty serious dude. And like he doesn't really emote that much. And if you know, you know, but like I always thought it was so funny when he would be like, yeah, I'm Mr. Horn. And you're like, okay. But he, and like all of his like fake IDs and things like that were just that like similar.
Eisenborn.
Yeah, no, genuinely. Like
Oh my
it's
gosh.
wild. He'd be like, oh yeah, my name's not Gregor, it's Gregory. You're like, okay. So that's why I chose Ilana and Alara. But like in retrospect, if you're ever gonna play a character who has that sort of like secret identity thing going, I wouldn't do that. I would make them either very distinct or just say like I have a secret identity and just like remind people when you're using it, and then just have one name and then just be like, hey, remember I'm disguised right now, and then like move on, because I think it ended up being more confusing than helpful for everyone involved.
I wish you had done like Alana.
We should have got a name tag like in
Eleanor.
front of her, and then she
Oh,
could
you
flip
flip it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
That would have been helpful.
Yeah, I like to
actually.
have good ideas once the campaigns are over. I wait.
Yeah,
Thanks,
it's like
Rusty.
that.
Yeah, got you,
Usually it's in the shower, and I'm like, oh, I could have said it this way.
Yeah, or it's at 3 a.m. and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And you call your friend and you cry.
Yeah. I think it's good to have that, like, even just like from an actual perspective, because I think the point is that you change it just enough that if someone's like searching on the computer, it won't come up as like, because if you put in Mr. Horn, Eisenhorn stuff's not going to trigger. But if he just like responds to it, like he's used to responding to it, so you don't have that same like, if they're like Mr. Horn, he's just like, what? Who? Oh yeah, me, I'm Mr. Horn. You know what I mean? Like he would like be able to respond to it. So same thing with Alara and Alana, where it's like, you know, if they put in Alara's stuff's not going to key up on like in like the cogitators, but you know, you would be able to hear it, since I mean, you did respond to whatever the heck we said at you. So
Phil's a spy.
Yeah.
That's some spy.
Yeah, that's some. He knew it firsthand.
Some spy shit.
you know nothing.
Speaking of Phil and Gore, several times throughout the campaign, Gore was like, "Oh, do I accomplish my secret mission?" Or, "Oh, I sent you a message." It was all related to Inquisitor Dometer. That was his goal from day one, and ultimately accomplished it.
Yeah, baby. If you had listened to the video, you'd have known what he was doing. So he even said that. He was like, if I, you know, in the Navy, that, you know, that would be punished. He's like, someone should do something about it. Spoiler alert, it was me. I did something about it. Yeah, that was fun. That was so much fun. And I think there was a point where we sort of saw him in, like, when we were walking through the city. And I said, like, I secretly had him, like, had Damien like do a roll to see if I noticed it, and I failed. And I was like, like,
you did fail, and yes, that was an Inquisitor Dometer in disguise.
yeah,
At
yeah.
the station, he was kind of interrogating one of the people when we had it all kind of set up. I mentioned, someone yelling at someone else. That was Dometer interrogating. He was on planet investigating Zinch cult activity on Justice Prime. If we followed the storyline of the like those religious zealots who had that roadblock all set up that you had to navigate through, their leaders were Zinch cultists.
Zinchsonians. Zinch.
Yeah, you got it.
Starbelly
It's
Zinches.
broken.
I tried so hard, but I'm not Linkin Park.
Yeah. What else? Oh, I was going to have the Eldari Rangers kind of show up while you were on the crashed ship, just in case the combat encounter was too difficult. GMs out there, just this is a good way to like, just make sure that your party doesn't die immediately. So definitely use stuff like that. But I figure them showing up on Justice Prime was probably more than fine.
Yeah, but instead we just decided to do that battle on hard mode by having me not attack back because I was like, just do something, Stark!
And it was ruined anyway. All these meddling kids. But I still got mine.
Yeah, I think that's about it for story questions that I had prepared. Anyone?
Man, it was fun. I just got to say thank you. That was such a good story. Like all the different components and all about it. Like I was like actively excited about being able to keep going forward throughout the story. So you did a very good job. So just
I wish I went before you. Wait, never mind. That's spoilers.
Thank you.
You what?
And thank you for like rolling with the
Punches?
flow. No, I fucked it up.
Listener, she punched the air, okay? Like, I was right. That's not what she wanted.
And then it felt wrong. And I was like, no, that's not right. And then I was like, the flow. No. Thank you for going with the flow. Like when I was not available.
Mm-hmm.
You did that.
The flexibility
you did
was
that really
sick.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did a really good job.
The tip for that is don't prep much.
Hell, we hate notebooks. We hate Google Notes. We hate prep.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, the only thing I could remember was Alara. Yeah, the only thing I could remember was Alara and Alana. So, like, as much as I was like bragging about being able to do that, that was literally the only thing I could remember.
Yeah, keeping track of everyone's names was like the hardest part. Of
We
the
should just get name tags for characters.
Yeah.
That way, I can just look at Joseph and be like,
Well,
"Oh,
when I
it's-
don't
dude,
have the,
I write them on my character sheet.
yeah,
I like straight up do that
does-
all the time. Where
Yeah, but I'm like-
Star
Oh,
Wesley.
I thought you meant you write your name on the character sheet. I was like, no,
No, like on my character sheet
I
it says
see-
Misty equals Alana
I
/
do that too
Alara.
sometimes.
yeah, but what if it's flipped?
Star equals Wesley.
No, I meant like, what if your page is flipped?
Then I flip it over.
Yeah, but I don't like doing that. I want to look at you when I'm talking to you, and it's easier to just glance down in front of you than have to go. Oh, fuck.
I think it would
Glance
be cool. We
all
could
the
do
way down to my
nameplates
character
well, and then
sheet.
flip my character sheet if
Like-
it's on the
Okay.
wrong page.
with like we could have like a little whiteboard insert.
Yeah.
And
then
get
write
like
names.
the wet erase too. So
Well, 'cause
we
if
don't
I
fuck it up
didn't
halfway
Hi,
through.
my name is.
if I didn't
Huh?
have the like
Who?
Shady.
if I
GM
didn't
screen?
have the Imperium Maledictum GM screen that did not fit very well right next to my normal GM screen, I probably would for next time write on the little dry erase cards on there everybody's
Trinity.
names and then
Yeah.
pop them up on top just so it's easier for you all and for me, because there may have been a few times where I was like, and next is
What's your name? What's your name? What's
Uh,
your name?
Roar.
Yeah.
Gror. It
you.
killed me.
Yeah. Yeah. You
I
kept
was
saying Gror and I kept saying Tor. And that like
Yeah.
Having to listen to it again.
Bro, QCing. I was like,
Internally, I'm like, why are you doing this? And you talked about it earlier in the episode about you guys messed it up, and then you called him Tor again, and I was like,
this
Was
is
that
how
on
the
purpose?
listeners feel.
but then you didn't say anything.
They just scream at their
They're not different
devices.
people. They're just saying their names wrong.
Should we start talking about mechanics?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should.
yeah, sure.
That shit. Oh man, I was gonna say it again. That shit's cool as fuck. Man.
Hey! I told you. He said the thing.
The name of the episode.
Just to keep us organized, we'll start with positives of the system, and then after that we'll go to negatives, and then finally what we steal.
Okay.
Lore. Warhammer
We
lore
can't
is
steal the lore.
sweet.
I don't
That
know,
is
man.
Yeah,
that's
you
one of the
can.
positives.
I feel like
You
like
can't.
you can
That
steal-
was a lie. All I steal is lore
all I do
and
is
lives
win.
of the innocent, but mostly lore.
Yeah, and doing like the lore dumps at the beginning of episodes was a lot of fun because like us as players might not know as much as the GM or Phil.
I did.
Okay, Phil.
And I think that's a good way for the DM to like exposition dump without making it feel like an exposition dump, even though it kind of is.
Mhm.
But it's like the start of like all 90s like TV shows where they're like, here's 5 minutes about whatever, and blah, 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 blah. Sure, this won't come up in the episode, and then it comes back to the characters you know and love.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like a nice change of pace because instead of being in the flow of role playing and I don't know, doing backflips, and then suddenly being halted to listen to this criminal talk about why he's a criminal for 10 minutes, you just have 3 minutes of the criminal lore, like the organization or whatever, before you're into the flow of role playing, so you don't break that flow. And then you go into it, and when it comes up again, you as a player, you're like, whoa, I just learned about this. Then you as a character, you're like, I'm still going to kill you
Yeah,
because I'm lawful good.
with lore heavy systems, I'm totally gonna start doing that.
Same.
I really liked that.
Even when it was like not about what we were about to do, like just
Yeah.
hearing more about the world at large, or like, sorry, the every hammer
Mhm.
was sick. Man. It was really cool.
Well, it's
Yeah.
also nice because then I can seed something in there like, oh, gene stealer cults. Let's go ahead and talk about them a couple episodes
For
before
no
they
reason.
actually come into play. No reason at all. Just I think they're cool.
This isn't
So,
foreshadowing.
well,
And
foreshadowing.
honestly, that makes sense because he loves the gene stealers. So we're like, of course he's going to talk about gene
Yeah.
stealers.
Yep.
Yeah. I would like to say, like, sick, love this, but this is not a game mechanic. So, like,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
just tooting our own horn,
Yeah.
I like
which
the
is
setting.
fine. But, like, I
Yeah,
just
the
wanted
setting.
to let the listeners know in case they missed that.
Listeners,
This is just something that we enjoy that we did. This is not part of the mechanics
no,
of the
yeah.
game.
when you buy the book, it comes with a Damien, and he will DM you, and it'll be great. I like everything involved with rolling the hit, like the whole like I like trying to roll low on on a D100. I like how the crits work. I enjoy that it's like how they measure successes, like the tens places, and I enjoy how that involves like melee combat against like the opposer if you're like trying to hit somebody who has a melee weapon. I like that the modifier is just your big number, your tens digit.
And
It
I
does
really
make the math a lot easier.
Yeah,
and I really like that hit location is
Is the ones.
other digit
Yes.
because you don't have to scramble to figure out
It's
like,
one
how
roll.
did I hit this guy?
Yep.
You hit him in the leg.
yep.
Yeah.
You get all the info you need from one roll,
Which is-
195.
So streamlined. I
Mhm.
love it.
Yeah, and I had played the old Fantasy Flight D100 Warhammer system, and they were just like too crunchy in what they did. Like there was like too much to it, and honestly, going into this system, I wasn't sure how the D100s were going to go because I listened to Call of Cthulhu, but I'd never played Call of Cthulhu, so I'd never really my only experience was one that was like overly crunchy with the D100s. So to get into this system that felt like it was very streamlined to the point of just smooth. Like it just felt like it was smooth, but it still had the intricacy and the ability to make it very nuanced that felt good with that. And like, to me, like you said, it just felt good about like the way they had it working. The fact that you went with the 10 spot for like how many levels of success you got and then location, like all of that, like, I concur. And it was a surprise to me coming from the only D100 system that I had played being too crunchy and not enjoyable.
I like the character creation seemed a little bit intimidating, but I like that a lot of the work was front loaded.
Mm-hmm.
Like going into character creation, I was like, oh my gosh, this seems like a lot. But playing, like you said, it was really streamlined. It was so smooth. And I like how fleshed out all of our characters were because of the lengthy character creation.
Yeah.
Like, I like all the questions it asked. It made you really think about what would my character think about this? What did they feel about that? What would they do in this kind of situation? Like, it makes you put a lot of thought into your character outside of just like mechanically. So you can really have an idea. You have a picture of who your character is, their personality a little bit.
Yeah, all the way down to like handedness. Are they
Yeah.
right or
Mhm.
left-handed? Like,
Or both.
I really, really liked
Yeah.
character creation. It's lengthy, but I feel like it's worth it, and it makes things flow so smoothly during the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like the thought that went into character creation, even the randomness, because they're like
Mhm.
most books will be like, if you don't want to think about it, roll on this table and fuck around and find out, right? But there was like a purposefulness with that, and it was all baked into the lore, and so I thought that was really, really cool. And also it wasn't forced. Like, you could go with the random way, but you didn't have to. And I feel like that in and of itself was just like so refreshing for character creation in general, to have it be either completely out of my hands, or if I really wanted to, I could choose every single tiny little aspect, and there was consequences to that. But like, I don't know, I loved character creation. I wanted to go back to the dice thing real quick. I also loved it. I at first didn't think I was going to like it at all, because I was kind of annoyed that it wasn't a D6 system, because that's what you use to play the tabletop game. And so I was like, that's dumb. If you're a war gamer coming into the TTRPG space, it's more of a barrier to entry that now you also have to go buy other dice. But honestly, like, now that we've played, I don't have that opinion anymore. I'm like, just go buy the dice. Like, because I feel like the way that the system works is so smooth that it is worth the change in dice. Even though originally I was like, that's stupid. We should be playing with D6s.
And they have a Warhammer 40K role-playing system that uses D6s, which is Wrath and Glory, which is more of like a high level where you're playing like Space Marines and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, it's, if you want to put it in terms of like Marvel, it's like the Avengers level, whereas this is like Marvel Knights, like the, you know, like we're playing Daredevil versus like Iron Man. But that system uses a D6 system. And I think probably for a similar reason, like you're talking about, that is getting people who are playing the tabletop war game versus just people who are TTRPG people.
This is like such a nitpick, but I do kind of want to say this because this is how I felt, and maybe other people didn't. Let us know what you think in the comments. There are no comments. Well, there are, depending on where you're listening to this. I didn't feel like there was consequences to not being random. I felt like there were benefits to being random, if that makes sense. Like that difference, because you were rewarded for being random, but I didn't feel like if I made every decision, I would be like worse off for it truly. Like obviously you get bonus XP for picking the random option, but like not so much so that you're gonna like outshine any character that like had a blueprint. I
agree. I think that's a good distinction, because it's not really a consequence. It's more the opposite. In my brain it was a consequence, that like while I was saying it, but I think you're right, it wouldn't have been a hindrance. It just is like,
we just like more XP.
I just like XP.
One thing that I do want to mention is that the game system does have a small little section about creating experienced characters.
It's so
which
cool.
is really nice. So basically, you can decide how much extra XP for every single character to gain. And it says for every full 500 XP, characters also begin with an extra 200 solars. For every full 1000 XP, they begin with +1 influence level and influence with a faction of the player's choice. So you can do that. So there's also this little section here that says optionally, each player may choose to have negative influence with one faction in order to gain +1. Plus 100 XP per -1 influence, and you would have like a little bit more dynamic kind of characters.
Cool.
Which I think is nice that it has it mentioned in there. The like starting at like later character levels, so don't feel like you have to kind of like level up your characters before you can do some like really epic fights. Like you can just start with that, and that's part of the game system.
So I also think it's worth noting that when you're doing the characters, it's not like an all or nothing thing. Like you don't have to decide at the beginning if you're going to be random and then everything's random. You could have an idea for a character, and if like something comes up, you're like, I don't care what kind of planet they came from. Like all I care about is like what they were doing and like what their job was. You can be like, all right, when it comes to planet, I'll just roll the dice and see where they come like randomly. Or maybe it's just like, I just want to make sure that he comes from like the Pharaoh planet because I got this idea of like a wild character that like comes up here. I don't care what like they eventually get roped into, but like that's the only thing. And you can pick and choose as you're going through it, like the bits that you do care about and the bits that you don't care about, and then get some extra XP as you're going along.
And
Yeah.
the entire character creation process has you roll first. So you can still have that idea in your mind. And as long as you believe in Big E hard enough, you will roll what you want and have the character still.
That's what I do when I roll.
Always.
But then like I do really like that aspect too. So it's not like you're right up front either rolling and getting 50 XP or choosing. It's you roll and then see if that's what you want.
Mhm.
Yeah, this really was like the most streamlined character creation I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it felt
I really
great
liked
just
it.
from start to finish.
I really like the talents. I think the talents are cool, and I think the XP buy aspect is cool. More games need XP buy, just
I
like
agree.
Star Wars.
I
Star
agree
Wars.
completely.
agree.
I think it is like by leaps and bounds the superior like growth mechanic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot better than leveling.
Mhm.
Mean.
So like instead of
Bye. I thought he didn't finish his like XP buy BY, and I was like, buy what?
What?
Okay, BUY buy with
BUY.
XP,
Yeah.
buy talents and stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, me too. I feel like though maybe finish explaining it just in case people
Oh, yeah.
don't know what that is.
So like instead of everyone gets to be level 2 now, it was like you get 100 XP and you get 50 XP, and like you buy talents and you like progressively make your character cooler the way that you want to
Mhm.
Mhm.
by putting experience into skills and talents and other stuff, versus we like you are now level 2, you now have an extra spell slot and figure out what to do with it.
Mhm.
Yeah, every paladin in the universe gets lay on hands at level 3. I don't know if that's true, but like just for example, right? Like if I
Yeah.
have an XP by system and I never want to pick up lay on hands, I don't have to, and I can spend those XP on anything else.
Yeah, and it also kind of avoids that whole like, oh, you gained a level. Here's like 30 things that your character just spontaneously knows.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
really enhances role play in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it also, what I also like about it is that you have the choice of like the direction that you want to go with your XP. Like I put a lot of my XP into like the skills and stuff like that. Like I was bumping up the skills so that I could do things on my rolls. Whereas Misty was taking a lot of the talents and stuff so she had like these really cool things that she could do,
Quick draw.
instead, like quick draw or like the hatred and like those kind of things. Whereas it really added a lot and it was really cool. But then I was putting more into like my skills so that like when Gore swung when Gore swung that thing, when Gore swung his power maul, like he was gonna hit, like, and when he was gonna hit like hard, and like that was, to me, that felt more Gore than like trying to get like the talents and stuff like that. He seemed more of a blunt instrument, whereas like Alara felt more of like a surgical tool, which is kind of cool, which is like allows you to do that kind of moving and shaking as you want.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, going along with that, I really love the goals. I wish more games did goals. I've never really thought about that too hard, and if we played a game that had goals, I forgot. But I really liked having that because it gave me something to focus on. It was like a cool way of getting XP because it felt like meaningful instead of in a lot of games where it's like you got XP because you showed up to the table tonight, and it's like, oh, okay, which sometimes can be fun, right? But like in the growth of character and like the role play, I really like being able to be like, ooh, I accomplished a goal and that's what gave me this XP. And like I liked the difference between the short term and the long term goals as well. I feel like that idea was really, really cool to me.
As a GM, was having the character goals in front of you something that you took into account while like preparing sessions and things?
Yes. The whole it did help guide me
Mhm.
into like key elements to like start try and squeeze into the story. I mean, for instance, Alara's whole one that got away, like that was
Mhm.
not even remotely on my mind until her character was created, goals identified, and that helped to kind of like not change the story, but like add a hook for your character to maybe pursue. It allowed me to railroad you guys, if I'm being like kind of honest.
Love
Like,
Well, it's not a
Love
road.
it.
I
don't
think it's
think
less of a railroad. If I say, hey, I want the Sword of Doom,
Mhm.
and then we're walking through town, and you're like, yeah, you hear rumors that in this cave to the east, there lies the Sword of Doom. Like,
yeah.
is it a railroad if I'm sprinting? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think like that is just a good. I think that is like the best example of narrative storytelling, where I'm saying like my character would like to accomplish this, and the DM within his overarching mastermind plot goes, okay, I can fit this in somewhere.
Exactly.
And I like that
that's-
it's a mechanical
Mhm.
benefit as
Yeah.
well, because I think people try to do that normally sometimes in their average campaign, but it's a lot easier to forget that that's a character's goal if it doesn't come up mechanically, you know?
Yeah.
Like we can have like a billion sessions and then somebody be like, hey, remember how I wanted that cool sword? And then you're like, oh shit, yeah, let me figure out how to throw that in, versus being like, I know what my players want. I will decide if I give that opportunity to them or not, but like I don't have to wonder if they're having fun, because their goals should be telling me like
Mhm.
whether or not they are getting the things they're wanting for their character.
And I think along those same lines, having it laid out like that, having like forcing the players to lay out what they want their goals to be, forces the players to be more engaged in the story and in what's going on. Like if you want your character to progress, you have to keep your goals in mind. And whether it's like changing your goals because it becomes like impossible to do, or it's, doing things specifically to accomplish those goals, you're forced to be engaged in what's happening and what's going on. You can't just like sit back and let the story happen to you, because otherwise you're just not going to get XP and you're not going to progress your character unless you are like taking an active part in the storytelling and in what's going on around you.
Mm-hmm. And I think also like, and this again kind of can come down to the GM and yada yada, but like I think this concept of having goals also helps compensate any sort of like we met in a tower, or not in a tower, we met in a tavern type vibes, right? Because like a lot of the time you show up and you're like, so why are you adventuring? And you're like, fuck if I know, why are you adventuring? And they're like,
I'm poor.
yeah. And you're like, okay, cool, none of us have any actual care for being here, but we're here, gosh dang it.
Mhm.
But like this like automatically gives you some semblance of purpose for your character. So even if you do meet in a tavern, if that sort of conversation happens, like you could very easily share some of your short-term goals with your players, but maybe you don't want to give them your long-term because that's more personal or whatever. Or maybe you do give them your long-term, but you don't tell them that like, hey, this sword is really cool, but you are going to be like, I'm here to avenge my stepson, right? Like, I don't know. It's cool.
So
I really like it. I don't know.
I was thinking of John Wick.
Yeah.
Oh,
I also think, and this is probably like, I don't want to say an unpopular opinion, but probably not like, this is probably like a splitting opinion. I think it's cool when people get XP at different rates, right? I think it
agree.
makes sense, right? Like, especially like one, if you're like a normal table full of normal humans that have like other obligations, it helps you as a DM, I imagine, if someone can't show up or if they just like aren't involved as much for whatever in that session, to still award your players for hitting their goals, but that player doesn't feel punished for not hitting their goals, because it's like, it's not like, oh, I missed a session and everyone's level 3 and I'm still level 2. It's like, oh, I missed a session. Well, I wasn't even guaranteed to hit my goal anyway, and like 2 out of 5 did, so they got 50 XP. You know what I mean? Like it rewards like it just like I feel like both in and out of character, it makes it feel like Phil was saying, like you want to be engaged so that you can look for opportunities to fulfill your goals. And also like when you do fulfill your goals and get XP, like you might be able to get a new talent or skill point or whatever you want to spend it on. But that 1 or 2 goals being hit doesn't put you so far in front of other people that like now I'm like a level behind, right? Like,
Yeah, I can personally attest to this because I was gone half the time. I did definitely feel like I had some catching up to do, but that's literally because my goal was like, I want to get closer to my friends.
yeah,
Oh no.
it was hard to do.
Yeah, and then, but like we compensated by,
Wait,
overcompensated a little bit because I was like, I want to do cool things. She has a sick ass gun. He's got that sick ass hilt. Ares is there.
What?
get an electric eye.
Damn.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't think. I didn't know what it was called. I was like, electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that.
Gore. It's gore.
He be hitting shit really hard.
Go
So,
for
like,
gore.
This way I could do something cool. But like that's very specifically like if I had just jumped right in, I want to be like, oh my gosh, you guys are leagues above me. I would have been like, oh, okay. Like without the crazy stuff.
Yeah, I do just want to say, as far as that whole fight, that Vortex of Doom is available to any psyker at level 1.
That's
wild.
wild.
At character creation, right? It's there. You can do it. And the whole drawback is that you might not be able to close it.
Can they normally cast it like right at like in one turn?
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah, nothing has a
dude.
casting time.
That
They
is
have
wild.
more charge instead.
Yeah.
So what you're trying to tell us is that Star just like handicapped herself? Like she just
what the
could have been she could have just been like that duel with Gore. She could have just been like boom.
I'm not losing. We're losing.
I mean, it did have like a very hard test to do, so it was minus 30 on it all. But that, I mean, you burn fate.
Work
Yeah,
charge
true.
4.
Yeah.
And then there it is. And honestly, you want to close it? Fuck it, burn fate again, bro.
Yeah.
Like I won.
Yeah, I feel like I can also kind of attest to that because I didn't have any of my short-term goals hit until halfway through the campaign, and like that was fine. Like I think we talked about it, but I was like, I think I did these wrong, which I do think is true. I don't think I did them correctly, but like I didn't feel like I was behind anybody. And then I only ever reached that one short-term goal before I reached my long-term goal. So like even with that, like it was exciting to be like, oh, look at all this XP. But like it was still just because I wasn't like every other episode reaching a short-term goal, I didn't feel like I was super behind. And I don't feel like I was super ahead either once I reached my long-term goal. And I thought that might be the case.
Yeah, comparing it to other systems, I like it better than the Star Wars XP buy because instead of the GM deciding when you get XP and like having a base like at the end of each session, you should give them some XP. I think completing goals again like draws the player in more, and it's a really good system.
Yeah, and like the goals, I do think it's kind of interesting too because it fits into the whole narrative of this thing where you're working for this guy, but you're trying to do your own shit.
But really, I'm working for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, freelancer.
And I was gonna say too, like to further the point, to beat this dead horse even more. When she was like, Steven, when you were listening to some of the stuff that you like that we had that was cool that could have possibly made you feel like you were behind, a lot of them weren't stuff we got by spending XP. Like the hilt, Damien just gave me to that because Damien's cool. Same thing with the super ultra mega fire gun. Like same thing with the electro eyeball, right? Like he didn't expend XP for that. It was just good storytelling, and so it's like I
Gore
think
was
like,
there too.
yeah, and Gore hits shit harder every time. Which that could actually be like, man, like Gore hits shit hard.
I mean, you got the power maul.
Which was
So
That's true. That's true.
But like for me, like I've only after starting the campaign, I only ever bought more secret powers, which is like no one's gonna be jealous of that. That's my shit, right?
Yeah.
And it's like for every like, and then other people had quick draw. Like I just feel like it's cool. It's cool as fuck.
Got him. You said the thing.
And I don't know if this is specific to like our group, just because we're like, oh, my voice cracked.
You play on a goat farm.
Yeah.
Look at all these kids running.
But it was nice that like we were able, it doesn't feel like you have to really push to get to your goal.
Mhm.
That's also because Damien did a great job like organizing things. But even though it's like XP you get based on like whether you accomplish your goals or not, it never felt like, oh, okay, I better like make a beeline for this to complete my goal. I'm gonna be weird and talk to my friends a lot and be like, hey, how are you?
Hey, I believe in
because yeah, like you should trust me, like because I wanted to earn your guys' trust, and I did.
you. Also,
but-
what a funny like. I just remembered that was one of the goals you have. Crazy ending.
Yeah.
I going off of that though, I think another part of the reason that I like the goals is that I get excited when the other players are reaching their goals. 'Cause
Yes.
I'm like, ooh, you're being like, you did it, yay!
You're pursuing your
What
true
are you
self.
gonna do
Yeah.
now?
And so I think that's another way that like it adds engagement. So
I also like I forget what it's called, but like the how you die quote.
the
Dividend.
Yeah, like to even include like if your character's death reflects your character's virtues, and that will benefit future characters. I just think this game is really good at making you be like, this is what your character wants, pursue that.
yeah.
I really appreciate that.
It's kind of interesting because I never thought that I would like line up at all with my divination because like, oh, that's kind of dramatic. Like that there are no bystanders in war, only soldiers and traitors. And then
Oh,
I was
you
a
were a
traitor.
That is the thing that I think is kind of cool about the divinations, is that all of them are so vague that you can apply them however you want, for the most part. And then I do like the whole thing where it's like your character's going to die, but you get like a little
Mhm.
bonus benefit for it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like quote unquote wasted.
Or retire.
Or retired. Yeah, you can retire your character and still get half the XP. Which, I mean, there's still a timeline out there where Gore kills Inquisitor Dometer and then just walks off into the cave. The Thespis Prime.
Yes.
That's it.
It's like, well, see you, losers. I'm out.
Maybe you just had to delay retirement. I'd retire after everything if I was Gore.
If Ares made it back to the ship, he was just gonna like,
Vibe.
I'm a resistor now, bloop, and like be a human battery or whatever for the rest of his life.
Oh, like
Yeah.
Star Child?
Yeah. I think about Gore, though. It's like,
Guardian of the Galaxy.
Our Lord.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
he was a battery for a while.
That feels like a joke that they would have put in one of the comics. Or
Yeah.
books
Oh, Star
or
Child.
movies. So
yeah.
It might be in there somewhere. That's awesome.
I was thinking like with Gore, like I've been thinking about that. Like, you know, what would he do? Like, would he retire now? It's like he killed the Inquisitor who destroyed his world. He now lost all of his friends because I'm sure that, you know, Alara is going to go off back to the Inquisitor, you know, the other Inquisitor, and like now he's just there. Like he's like, what do I do now? Like I avenged my entire, like, my people, and I've got no friends. Like, what do I do now? You know? So yeah,
That do be the grimdark future.
Yeah.
it do be grimdark.
Any other final things that we want to say that we liked? I have got one.
I have so
Okay.
many negatives. I'm ready.
Whoa.
Jeez.
How many hammers do we need?
I'm balanced. No, you're good.
I really like the way that they do the bestiary because it's
I avoided the bestiary as a good player.
As did I.
Yes.
So,
Thank you.
what do you like about it?
So I am showing the group here.
What page for the
Notice
listeners at home?
how small this is.
I don't have my glasses.
I am currently looking at 323, where it's talking about the Adeptus Mechanicus. It has a quick little description of the Adeptus Mechanicus. It has a section for using them in your game, which is really fucking nice to have. I didn't read it because I'm built different, but it's nice that it's there. And then it starts going into like some descriptions about specific enemies. And they have like that different delineation between troop, elite, and leader, so that just at a glance you can look and see like, oh, I don't want this encounter probably doesn't need to be like super difficult, so let's just throw like a couple troops kind of your direction. In addition, it doesn't have like a full fucking character sheet that you have to keep track of, right?
Yeah.
It's just, hey, here's the armor that they have everywhere. You're fine. Just don't worry about it too much. Here's the amount of wounds that they have, and here's the amount of critical wounds that they can take before they die. You'll see that like a lot of the troops there have 0 critical wounds. So the first critical wound that they take, guess what?
They gone.
Kablooey. And I just thought that was really, really fucking nice.
It almost blew my mind, but it sounded like the book in general for you was like quite good. Like there were several times in the campaign where you're like, this shit fucks. And you would explain why.
And then I wish that it wasn't a separate fucking thing, but give me a sec.
Listeners, give him a second. Please stop rushing him. He's trying his best.
If you get this game, you better get the fucking GM screen. It comes with this Macarian Miscellanea supplement.
Okay.
So that then you can have a table to roll on planetary transport whispers. Or you can have some infractionist personae that you can just roll on real fucking quick, or just grab whatever you might need there real quick. Noble titles, sure. A commissar's inspection, so that then I can go ahead and role play out that you're standing there and the commissar's fucking looking you up and down, and then he can just say, now tell me, why is the purity seal on your las gun melted?
Oof.
And then, it feels a bit more like oof in there.
Because you were melting those Tyranids.
True. Then you also have like a table on here for Macarian maledictions. If a demon ate your soul, it would starve.
Goddamn.
Got him.
I'm still on that one.
You're not even worth Terra's due. Must have tithed your brain and left your body behind.
Got him.
Like, there's some fucking good ones in here. And then
I like
wonderful.
that one a lot.
Yeah.
Administratum paperwork, psychic visions, Macarian cargo manifests. It has fucking everything you could ever want in here.
That's a lot of great tables.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Mahogany.
Yep. Heirloom mahogany.
But yeah, I love this book.
Okay.
Now to go into the negatives. There's a lot of fucking bloat in this book.
I like the fates. Sorry.
Oh.
I like the fate system a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh,
Fate
yeah.
is
Last
really nice.
positive.
Yeah.
Let's attack.
Ditto.
Spending versus burning
Yes.
was really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. And I do think that resetting at every session is the way to go.
I agree.
Because
Agree.
I thought it might end up being too OP once we switch to that. But because you can burn fate, it eventually no longer is powerful. Because you're just like hoping that with your 2 fate that like you can get through that because you've already burned a few, so.
And I feel like the power level difference between the two is substantial enough that like
Absolutely.
the fate reset, you get to re-roll like, whatever. But burning to just fucking choose the number is insane.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then there's me who's built different and still had his 4 fate at the end and just literally burnt through every single one in that last fight at the end to make sure
Oh, by the way,
cool stuff happens, which is fun.
that entity that came in to like cleave the portal in half, Celestine.
Okay, good. I thought it was.
The saint, her.
Yeah, I figured that was awesome.
That's right.
I saw it as you described it in my brain. It was very like cool anime moment. I liked it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because I mean, Celestine is just like flying through the warp until suddenly she just pops out at a battle somewhere in the galaxy and then fucks shit up, dies or doesn't, and then goes back into the warp and
Does
fuck
it
shit
all
up.
over.
Climb.
It's
And-
great.
Also, this is a little side here, but she has to climb up a mountain of her dead bodies every time to reach the summit so that she can come back. to life after she dies. But she has to keep climbing, and every time she touches one of her dead bodies, she relives her death that left that dead body.
What?
Oh my
In the warp.
gosh!
Oh,
I've
that
never
is
Yeah,
heard
it's-
of her, but this is
That's
she's
She's the
metal.
fucking
crazy.
goat.
Yeah.
She's metal as hell.
Yeah.
She's
I have so many.
Because at the top, she
Question.
convinces new Celestine,
she
To
does
keep
at some
fighting.
point through there. She has to convince herself to keep fighting.
and then she dies and becomes the topmost body on that
Oh
pile.
my gosh.
Well, that's it's like as she keeps climbing, she has to keep living through each of these deaths and has to keep like mentally pushing herself onward through all of that, and that's her struggle that she has to go through every single time she dies.
She just stopped dying.
That's wild. I have chills.
Yeah,
So
just get good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thing I don't like. There's a lot
Mm.
of bloat in here.
Mm.
This book is what is it, like 400 or 367 pages long.
But yet you like the extra tables
I like the extra
in
tables.
this separate book.
They have like massive descriptions of like the different factions, and then all of this other stuff in there, big paragraphs of everything.
Okay.
I wish that they, I don't know, maybe made their own fucking cheat sheet that I could look at and reference, which luckily GM screen, but I don't expect everyone to have a GM screen to look at and reference.
Just imagining us all like when you took tests as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have the folders like together,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yep.
with GM screens, we're like, don't look at my shit. I have the little notes about betraying you. Don't look.
Yeah.
I didn't have. Well, I had secret notes, but I already had a bunch of sticky notes, so it just blended right in.
You said secret notes. I just imagine a folder titled Stevie's Secret Notes. Do not look.
I just folded the secret ones.
I think
It feels a little bit bloated and intimidating for like someone just coming to the system. Luckily, I didn't really need to read a lot of it
I
because
think
I
I'm gonna
know
play-
the factions anyways.
devil's advocate.
I was about to too.
I would
think
also like to.
Oh,
that
okay.
if you already know
purpose.
about Warhammer, I can definitely understand this feeling bloated. But if one of you guys were to come to me and be like, "Hey, we really want to play this game. None of us want to GM it. Will you GM it?" and you handed me this book, I would be like, "Oh, thank heavens." There's everything that I need to know to do a basic game of this lore that I have no idea about. Great. And I think that's really important for other tables, because they might be a table where there's like 2 or 3 of them who play Warhammer, but they aren't their tables forever GM. And so being able to give this to your GM and be like, it would be really, really cool if we played Warhammer, and then not have to like explain all of it to them unless you want to. I think that could be really helpful. Again, like I can see the argument for it feeling bloated too.
Mhm.
I just think that is something to think about, is if you know nothing about Warhammer, this actually might be helpful. Because then you don't
Yeah.
have to go through all of the wikis, because there's like a bunch of them for some reason. Why
There's
can't
a
we just
bunch,
have
and
one
then-
wiki.
And then you don't actually know which one has like the proper and like correct information. But then
Mhm.
again, I mean, it's Warhammer and everything's misfiled, so it doesn't matter anyways.
Yeah.
I think, and do take this with a grain of salt, perhaps too, because obviously I didn't DM it. I just played it. But for me, books don't feel bloaty when they have a lot of text. They feel bloaty when that text gets in my way. And every time I had to look something up as a player, that I feel like that didn't happen. It was very easy for me to go, table of contents, psycho spells. Yep, that's the one. Even like with that and the armors and the weapons and anything I ever had to reference ever, it was never like, there have been books in the past where it's like weapons, and each weapon has its own blurb that prevents you from getting to the next weapon. But in this book, I feel like it's more like a blurb about weapons and then the table of weapons. So I can just jump over the blurb, go straight to my right fist, and see the stats for my right fist. And same thing with all the psyker spells, right? Like I knew exactly where the biomancy spells were because it was like blurb about psycherism, all the spells.
Mhm.
And so it was just like I could read up on extra stuff if I wanted to, but I never felt like it was. Yeah, I never felt like the extra text was in my way, me personally as a player. So I obviously can't speak too much to the DM side, but
So you played your counter spell, and now I tap my 2 mana for a counter spell to your counter spell.
Counter my spell.
Fair. However, there were a few instances in which, when we were trying to go through the book, we had to like search within the fine text of a paragraph to get specific information. Things like healing. I had to check that like 3 or 4 times. Maximum number of corruption. Needed to check that like 3 or 4 times. There was something with maximum warp charge. I know that we have a little reference on the character sheet itself, but as far as like in the book, I kind of had to like dig a little bit more, and I felt like that was a thing.
I can see why that
throughout
could
the
feel
book.
like it's.
And then it felt like it was bloated because I have to like carve through all of this extra information just to find the one little blurb that says your maximum warp charge value is your willpower bonus.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, though, I do agree on the lore aspect of it. It is probably better for them to have it all in here and all in one book too. I might add, you don't have to get a
Mhm.
player's
Yeah.
book and then the DM book.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Same. One of the things that I found similar in the idea of like tables and books and stuff. One of the things that I found a little frustrating is that the cheat sheet that you found for us was like, it was super helpful, but you found it off of Reddit. I wish that was in the book. And this isn't like a gripe about just this book. This is a gripe about all books. Like, all books should have some sort of cheat sheet that you can give to your players that helps them, essentially like a little GM screen, but that helps them remember what they're going to do. Board games do it all the time, where it's like a little card and it gives you like, here's...
That's a good fucking point.
Yeah, it is. Like they give you a little cheat sheet card that's like, hey, here's what you can do on your turn. And I just feel like role-playing games should come with that, because I used the cheat sheet that you gave us quite a few times, being like, how does fate work again? Even though I've used it 47 billion times. And I just feel like that's not something that I should have to create as a player. You shouldn't have to create that as a GM. And Reddit shouldn't have to be my provider.
Thanks, Reddit.
Fallout, I think, was the only game that we've played thus far that came with its own cheat sheet.
So I feel like a few games that we've played have had like a combat specific cheat sheet, but not like a general cheat sheet like you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think it should be a general one. Like even if it's small and it just fits on one page and I have to use like a magnifying glass to read it, like
Write it on a grain of rice.
Yeah. I would prefer that than having to flip through the book the entire time.
Or like a cheat sheet that gives you 90% of it, but then has page numbers to the things that are really complicated.
Mhm.
We should write a book.
Let's do it, guys.
Let's make
Yeah.
We could just write a book on how to write,
I'm not good at
A
talking
book.
today. Sorry.
you know?
And we
how
use
to
that
write.
book to
we
write
know
the
what we're
book
doing.
about
Oh my
writing
gosh.
books.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because like,
And we put a cheat sheet for that book.
Yes.
With page numbers.
That's too many layers. I'm getting
Next gripe?
confused.
Next gripe.
Yeah, dude, this character sheet,
it's
Yeah.
buns.
it's buns.
If I was
It's kind of it's bad. Starting at the top, okay, the first like inch is okay.
The
part
part
where
where
you
it
write
says
your name.
Imperium Maledictum,
Yeah,
that part's fine.
Yeah,
I do be liking the border.
yeah, the border's
That's
good.
really
it's
cool.
very elegant.
I do like the like origin and faction and all of that up at the top.
Right.
That's very basic, though. The XP right next to your name, basic. That's where it starts to get bad, unfortunately. The characteristics, if you do not play Warhammer, WS and BS mean nothing to you starting out, and that takes a little bit. And then the rest of them are also abbreviated, right? Agility is AG. Willpower is will.
Willpower.
Yeah. WIL.
I also hate that it's AG and not AGI. Fucking freaks.
Yeah, like why did you
Why?
cut the one out of agility?
The one familiar
Because
one.
it's STRTGH AG
Yeah,
INTPER. What the heck?
right?
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
So starting advance is current. I didn't even fill out advances because I didn't do any. Current, right? I feel like if I was going to erase something anyway, I would just erase the starting column, and that kind of defeats the purpose of having a current and starting.
Mhm.
Okay, so characteristics, not a fan of how they've structured that. Fate, pretty good.
I disagree. I
Okay.
think fate is too big. Why do I need all
It is
of that?
wildly big.
I
For
think
fate.
because you're erasing and like marking over and over again.
Maybe.
That's the one reason I don't have a problem with it. Is it's big, and I like to be reminded that I'm going to use it.
Which is fair, but also like if you take away characteristics, like the 3 lines,
Hmm.
then fate doesn't need to be that big either.
Oh,
you
yeah,
see what I'm
fate doesn't
saying?
look
Like
that
it's
big.
just it's
Fate-
only big because characteristics is big.
It's so small.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bigger than your. No, it's about the same, but it's like about even with your wound thresholds.
Yeah.
Which seems like
Which I'm
a little
not
extra.
using fate nearly as much
That's
as
why
I
I'm
am.
getting the shit beat out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which maybe if I
Well,
use
that's
it,
because
you're
yourself.
using.
yeah, I was gonna say like maybe
You're
if I
not
use
using fate. That's why you're messing with your wounds so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the skills and specializations portion. In my opinion, I think that it feels kind of Pathfindery because there's a lot of them, but like I like that I can keep the specializations near my skills.
Mhm.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I like this skill and specialization area better than I thought I would. Because initially looking at it, again, like there's a lot of boxes,
Mhm.
but after I filled out like the 4 that I actually had advances in, it went pretty quick.
You're probably about to get this, but I really want to steal this from you because it kind of annoys me a lot.
Yeah, go
now
for
that
it.
I'm realizing it. I don't like that my wound threshold is on the back.
Yeah.
No, I do actually.
I do.
Because it's with the
kinda
rest
like
of my combat stuff.
Yeah, combat things are on the
Because
back.
there's weapons, there's critical wounds, there's
I guess
armor.
yeah. I guess
Psychic
I guess I
powers.
more wish that my fate was with my wounds because I feel like I use it the most in combat anyway. That's probably just me.
Mm.
But I didn't like having to flip.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
also got
No, that's a good
corruption
point.
a
I
lot in
think-
combat.
I think fate should be on the back.
Yeah, I think
think-
that is
Yeah,
what it
because
is.
the front
Yeah.
is like, this is your character. And then the back could be like, this is how your character is interacting with the world around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going along with that, though, like one of the big things, I know we're kind of going down the character sheet, but like one of the things that drives me nuts about this character sheet is that like there's all of these things that we're trying to fit on it, and it's really difficult to write anything on there
Yep.
because the spaces are so small. Like the goals section, goals are a huge part of the mechanics of this game, and I had to like squish my goals in there together
Mhm.
and like try and like write as small as possible.
There's not even lines.
In that regard, so on that section, right, it's goals, connections, notes, divination.
Mhm.
Connections should probably be just under influence, where you have
Yes. Yep.
faction, influence, and
100%.
contacts.
Mhm.
That's different,
notes.
Connections isn't like the same as like, it's not really related to influence.
But you,
Yeah, but it-
you
but it
could
could
just
be.
say like you could just put an X through how much influence you have in that column, and the faction be like, here's my patron,
Mm-hmm.
here's the note about them, instead of it saying like contacts, have it be like notes or something like
Yeah,
that.
faction
That
slash
is
person.
my other thing, though. No character sheet needs notes. I'm gonna throw this one
Mhm.
out there. No character sheet needs to have its own separate section for notes. I'm
I
gonna
agree.
Be
I
honest,
can't agree enough.
What are you
Mhm.
supposed to put there?
yeah, there.
It's a tiny little box. Every single human that I have interacted with that takes notes takes it on like a little fucking binder, a scrap piece of paper, something
In
else.
their laptop,
Thank you.
inside the book.
There's
Representation.
also combat notes on the back.
I just think like, because dude, unless we're playing like a 2-minute shot, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
fit all my notes on this, and like I guess you could write and then erase them, but like
They also don't have anywhere there for things like your bleeding and stuff like that, like
Yeah,
conditions.
condition.
Yeah.
That was one of the.
Nothing
I
There's
remember you
so many
specifically-
marks on this character sheet where I have like crossed things out. I made this like little wave on the psychic powers because I would like to suggest in edition 2 of this game, you have 2 separate character sheets, one for normies and one for psychers.
Or just
Because-
an extra page, maybe?
Yeah,
Or
because that way,
Yeah.
if
Sure.
you want to go the psyker route later,
Sure.
you know.
I don't care how you do it, but the psyker powers don't matter to me, a non-psyker.
Mhm.
And it
taking
takes up most of
a
the back.
fourth of the page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where I also didn't have any place to put my conditions going
Mhm.
on. I only had a place for critical wounds, and like I would much rather have had more space for equipment, for example, or the conditions that I was given, or more weapons, because I didn't have enough room for my weapons. I had to start making my own columns on here. It looks crazy.
Yeah, and I had the same problem with equipment where it started to bleed over into the combat notes section because
Mhm.
that's the only place it could go. I had so much augmetic shit that I had to keep track of that it like bled into the combat notes because
Mhm.
the
Here's-
equipment spot is too small.
Here's a visual little game that we can play here.
Oh, okay.
So this bottom chunk says conditions. Wouldn't it be nice if we just had that right
Yeah.
there
Oh,
with
and
the
then you
psychic
could like
powers?
look a box. I
Yeah.
checked the
Look a
box.
box.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
I have
would
this
love that.
condition.
Yeah,
That
the
was,
GM screen has it laid out really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just take that and put it
here.
on the character sheet.
Yeah.
Yep. Another thing that there's not a. Oh, sorry. Go for it.
Who?
You.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Also, talents. Like, what are you? It says name and effect, and it has one line for you to write the effect.
Mm-hmm.
No,
And then there's
Again,
like,
mine look crazy.
we're saying the same thing. I was going to say the same thing about the psychic powers. If you go
like
to
a
the
fucking
book,
paragraph.
even if you just want like the what it does, like even if you don't write, because obviously you're not going to write down a flavor text,
Mhm.
it still doesn't fucking fit.
No,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
at all. So like,
I had to add sticky notes. I have 6 sticky notes
I took
With my
screenshots
talents-
of my spells.
and with other stuff. I don't know what the fuck I wrote on here.
literally the only talent that I had that I could fit on one line was secret identity, and it was rapport deception tests. That's what I wrote. Does that mean anything? No, it fucking doesn't. When I had to use it, I still had to look it up in the book, and that is stupid. Like,
You could put a page number, but
Sure.
that's annoying.
that's annoying. As a
Well, that
character,
defeats the-
I want to remember what my things do, and I couldn't because, first of all, I couldn't read what I wrote because I was writing so stupid because there's only one line. And like
Mhm.
even hatred, where I had like the difficult -10 discipline composure test thing that I had to do. There's more to hatred. So like even if I did remind myself of that, I still have to look it up again, and that's dumb.
Well, like why be here
Yeah,
if it's not going to be enough to help?
exactly.
Yeah, when I was creating, like working on characters for the convention game,
Hmm.
I put in there, I wrote down the talent name, and then in the effect, I said probably should just look this one up because I just did not have enough room. I like verbatim wrote that just
Yeah.
in that spot
Hmm.
because I did not have enough room. So, one thing that I did do, which I would recommend for anyone who is playing a game like this, or just a game like this, doesn't have to be this one in particular. If you have a lot of word bloat that is necessary for your ability, put it in like Google Docs and print out a separate page.
That's
which
what I
is,
do for
I know
characters
it's
a
not
lot.
technically
Or-
what the game like. It's not. That's putting a
Mhm.
lot of extra work on you, but I feel like it's kind of I don't know. Personally, I feel like it's a lose-lose situation.
The way I get around that is I write down page numbers. I'm like, hey, Chirurgeon, use Churkit, and then it says page 145, perform amputations, page 217, and it's like
That works
guiding
too,
me
yeah.
around the book.
Yeah, and
But it's a pain.
I think that's fair, but like even then, you still need more room than what they gave you to
Yeah.
write down the page numbers. So
Yo.
like
Yeah, they
It-
There's so much
this
bleed
just
on this.
needs help. I should be able to write.
yeah. I ended up. It's also even with the sticky notes, there was not. I couldn't fit all the information on there. So one sticky note is just my talents and when I use them. And it's like, so I have like
That's
a short
pretty good,
list
honestly.
That's smart. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a
of
good
like,
idea.
let ally use my skill for next test. When stunned immediately, make endurance test. When need object. That was well prepared. Or like once per encounter. Like it was just short notes about it. And then I have separate sticky notes explaining what the fuck I actually have to do. What the fuck I have
Yep.
to actually roll. Because there's so much information. There's like a paragraph for each thing. And that's great. I love that. But like I just want someone to make an app where you can be like, I have these talents, check it off. And then, yeah, someone do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wesley,
I'll get on it.
you sound excited.
No, I don't think Wesley can do it. It's not made out of cardboard. It's not a cardboard box.
That's not engineering. That's development. That's literally exclusively my job.
Yeah, I was going to say that's wrong.
And I agree. Generally speaking, like and when I'm playing any kind of caster, whether like or diviner or whatever, I do usually just keep my spells or miracles on a separate document. But in cases like this, it's like, why waste the space then? The only thing on here that I actually referenced was my warp charge. Because it's like, I had one of my, it's just dumb. One of them I'd even write down because that line was already being taken up by another spell when I was still trying to write these down.
Yup.
Like, how can I fit that she has to make a fortitude test against my manifest test, and if she loses, she takes 2 damage, ignoring armor, and then suffers bleeding major on one of these lines.
Easy.
Oh, true. And it's just like,
write tiny.
if I just wish they were real and said, hey, just print out these spells.
Yep.
And so, and then we don't have to waste all this space, right? Like, it's just dumb, and it makes me mad. It makes my eyebrows furrow.
Or even if they just said page number. So then you can realistically say, okay, I'm just going to have to reference the book.
Yep.
A psyker deck would be cool with all the
Yeah.
the
Ooh,
spells on the
actually,
card.
like
I
talent
love
deck would be
cards.
awesome too.
yeah,
Talent deck,
cards
too.
are a good way around that. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Also, this is a little tiny thing that needs to get added, but like there's not a spot for me to put money. Well,
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've just been using the bottom of another slot, but it doesn't say money. I wrote.
I just
money
have
in.
it
Yeah.
equipment.
Mine
Yeah, I
is-
have it in my equipment.
Mine's near my equipment in the margins, and I think that's dumb because if you're going to have money in your system,
Mhm.
people are
Have
going to
money.
use money in your system,
Money.
and
The,
I should
uh,
have a space for it.
The Roll20 character sheet has a space for
Ah.
Solars.
Why doesn't this one?
I have no idea.
I'm a
Because they were
solar.
like, they were
'Cause-
like, this is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Because someone freaked out like we are.
Yeah, they heard this before it dropped.
Heard this before it happened.
Okay, another thing that
Psyker.
That's what I said.
that annoys me.
Before it happened.
Some of the so initiative tells you add your perception bonus plus your agility bonus,
Mhm.
right? Which for someone new that takes a second to like, what are all these acronyms? But right below that, they have melee ranged reflexes. I don't know what I'm supposed to put in that box.
Me either. I didn't touch it.
Where is
Oh,
that?
that one's kind of. I can at least
Okay.
speak to that one because the front of your sheet has skills and specializations, but the back of your sheet is combat oriented.
Okay.
You would just transfer whatever your melee number is and put it in
Oh.
that spot.
It's
So
a
you
quick
can
reference.
just quickly reference.
Why does that matter though? When
And
you
why did they
have
spell it
the
out?
damage, or sorry, the test category in like your weapons area? Like that will tell you what your test is anyway.
I think the
that.
test.
I just run the game.
Well, the
yeah,
test-
I'm not asking you specifically. I'm
I
just
mean,
saying, like, I-
literally the only scenario in which that
Mhm.
makes sense, which is a fucking wild scenario, is you kill a guy and you take his weapon, and you just need to quickly look at what.
Well, the test isn't like
It's like-
you're right. It makes more sense if it is a number. It's not a number though. Like for a sword, you would put weapon skill, right? For a gun, you would put ballistic skill.
Okay, Batman, riddle me this. It says melee on the back of the page. Where does it say melee on the front of the page?
on your skills.
Where?
In your skills.
Where it
Melee.
says melee.
Dang it.
Sorry.
I was like, no, I was looking at my characteristics because
Because what's the fucking difference, right?
Yeah,
like,
because I was using
Yeah.
the
You can put
WS.
advances.
yeah.
But
Well,
you
it's
can put
also like,
advances. Yeah, you're right.
But
okay.
that's a good point because it's a
I
characteristic that
see.
you would put in the test column,
Mhm.
and so it's like,
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I
Wait,
don't know
yeah.
if it needs it.
yeah.
Ranged reflexes.
Anyway.
but wait,
Is there
You could put
anything
fate there instead.
you
True.
totally could. Is there anything else that we want to like bash on about this character sheet? 'Cause
corruption.
okay.
yeah,
It just says corruption. It doesn't tell you like how to calculate your total.
Mhm.
we
Oh,
figured
yeah.
that out after the fact.
Mm.
It doesn't have the little note like it normally does.
Like everything on the back of the page has like use your toughness bonus for this.
Which I do appreciate.
But
I
it's just
do,
Like, you
right?
gotta know.
Yeah, corruption. It's like guess.
Yeah, and then it has that little portion of like mutations and malignancies.
You can write the name of it.
Yeah, but like it's not enough.
It's not.
Maybe even for the name, because we have names like
Supercalifragilistic.
Adepta Sororitas that like you have to spell out.
It would
That's too
barely
long.
fit in there.
Yeah, like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I just feel like in the second edition, this needs a big revamp.
Yep.
I would go so far as to say all games should use cards for your spells, miracles, and talents.
At least as an optional thing.
Yeah,
I
as
think-
an optional thing
yeah,
for sure.
Cards or a separate sheet.
Or a separate sheet.
Accessibility wise, like people might not have the money to pay
Yeah.
for a separate card deck, and so I definitely understand that, and
Mhm.
I think that there should be an option to still flip through the book if
Yeah.
that's where you fall into, so you can still enjoy the game. But like,
Yeah, I didn't mean like as the
Goodness
sole
gracious.
option. I just meant like it should be available.
yeah,
Yeah, Wesley, not all of us are made out of card money.
I got nothing but cards.
Yeah.
Call me bored,
All you do is card.
no matter what.
This isn't related. This is sort of related because we were talking about mutations, malignancies.
Mhm.
It didn't really come up, but I had photonic irregularity,
Ooh, what's
which
that?
means that I don't show up in like reflections or on video.
Did you
That's
write
so
that on your
cool.
character
I
sheet?
forgot to include that.
Did you
That's
write
so
that?
cool.
Did you write that?
I
in
wrote that
You're
on
a
my
freaking vampire.
I
Do you
forgot
think it
to
would've fit?
include
because
that.
I haven't dealt with. I was like, bro, I am corruption, so I didn't.
Dude.
I hadn't dealt with corruption yet.
The Man of Iron couldn't see you.
Oh, well, we can just go back and record
would've
that
been
whole episode.
Sick. Okay. Hey, next time.
Next time, yeah.
Delete it. Let's go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spin it
Let's
back.
try it again. At least you guys.
Run it back,
The whole
baby.
campaign over.
from the top.
Pretend you didn't see that model. Going back.
Ooh. One other thing there wasn't space for was your patrons' boons.
Yeah,
Like, I guess you
There's a
could.
There's a separate
there's a
sheet.
separate sheet for that.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Yeah, there's like the.
okay, we just
Yeah,
didn't
Okay.
I
use
think
it.
you
Then
guys
I
have
take
it
that back.
somewhere.
Yeah, we absolutely did not use it at all.
Yeah,
Wesley
I
had
wrote
it.
that on my page.
Phil, we're gonna fight.
I'm serious. You did. I remember
I
it.
think Wesley does have it.
I have it now.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Everyone cease and desist.
Hey,
Wesley-
I have
had
it in my
this the
possession
whole time.
currently right now. I did not have it the whole campaign.
Yes, you did.
I will not-
You gave it to me at the beginning when we were doing the characters. When we were doing character creation,
I can't wait.
he was like, "Here, you guys need to have one," and you're like, "Wesley, you take this."
I can't wait to quit.
Oh my god,
Um,
I can't wait for you to quit either.
Character sheet.
Okay, character sheet.
last thing that I'll say about the character sheet is just like we played this game for a couple months, and I have never had a character sheet look so disgusting
Mm-hmm.
because of all of the notes I had to take and like the chaos that ensued with trying to fit things that didn't have places.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm personally coming from, is like this isn't just to like have something to be mad at. This is like,
This is a bad
if-
character sheet.
if this were to be a year-long campaign, or heaven
Oof.
forbid, like our forever campaign, this would
Several
become
editions.
very upsetting.
I think
quick.
I would just design my own on my
Yeah.
Oh, for
laptop
sure.
and just
Yeah.
use a
I thought about it. I really did, but then I was like, no,
because
I
you have
need
to
to
talk
play
about
it
it.
this
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
For a moment, I was like, mine looks fine. Oh, sorry. Mine looks fine, but if I put all the sticky notes,
Oh no.
it's covered.
Yeah, we'll
so many sticky
we'll
notes.
put some photos on our Instagram of our character sheet, so you guys can kind of see what we're talking about as far as like the chaos that has happened.
I mean, I don't know what you guys are talking about. My GM sheet looks just fine.
Immaculate.
It
It's empty.
looks like you just printed it off.
It does. It's actually in pretty good shape.
That's because you didn't have Wesley hold it.
No, it's because I took
Hey.
all of my notes on a Google Doc.
This is moving off the topic of the character sheet.
Cool.
And maybe I might be the only one with this opinion. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't do this really ever because I hated this. If someone wants to shoot at me, in order for me to use my reflex to possibly take less damage, I would have had to have taken the dodge action.
Yes.
That seems weird to me because
Yeah, that's
there's no parry action, right? If someone wants to come up and hit me with a sword, it's like, I guess the idea is like, well, you see them about to swing their sword at you, but I'm like, I also see them pointing a gun at my face.
Yeah.
So it's like, it makes it feel like mechanically advantageous to shoot at people. Especially if you're like you just know they will have to take an action to lower the chances of getting hit.
That
I disagree on
Yeah.
Why?
that actually pretty significantly.
Why?
Because
These are
of
fast.
the melee being an opposed test.
Sure.
Because melee is an opposed test, you can fail the test, but still hit. With ranged, if you fail the test, you just fucking lose. So it has its own kind of balance in there because of that, is what I see.
I guess. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I also think that, if you're going to try to dodge a bullet, you have to have like preemptively like made a move before that trigger's pulled.
Yeah.
Like you can't decide to dodge a bullet when the trigger's pulled. Like,
No.
but a sword, if you see a sword like going back to come down at you, like you're far more able to make a reaction move to that versus like a bullet coming at you.
Are you faster than light, Wesley?
Well,
That's
he
what
is, yeah.
lasers are.
'Cause he's above human
Yeah, kind of
ability.
said it mortal limits.
Yeah.
I just think I guess to me it just feels a little weird because it's like it does feel like the floor and ceilings are so wildly different, right? Like I guess the melee damage number is so variable, which I guess like is the boon of it, but it's like all I need to do to have a chance to mitigate the melee damage is have a melee weapon in my hand, even in my offhand. And with guns, that's not the case. And sure, they could miss, but if they don't miss, I'm just cooked. Or I have to waste in order to react to a gun, I have to on my turn either take cover or dodge, and that just feels weird to me.
Yeah, I do agree. I think
I don't have
it's
like an
weird
answer
that-
for it.
yeah, you're not you're not reacting to the attack. You are like preemptively doing like saying I'm diving behind cover.
Mhm. And that is an action. Like both those things are definitive actions.
yeah.
And we have defensive stances, right? Like if I was standing next to Misty's character and someone was going to melee Misty, I would, if I want to protect her, I would have had to on my turn declare that my action is defending Misty. It just feels like it just makes it flow significantly different that I have to consider my opponent's melee skill if I want to hit them. I don't have to consider my opponent's shit if I want to shoot them. You know what I mean? Unless they decide to dive a bear and cover.
I
But
think it's kind of that whole saying of like you brought a knife to a gunfight, right? Like I think that reality is that like we're not probably in the Matrix, so I can't dodge bullets
But
quite as easily as I can dodge somebody trying to stab me. And I think that's where that comes in. I think maybe it would be good to have like taking cover be like a free action type idea where like I'm not necessarily leaving the zone, I'm not moving, but like I'm gonna duck behind this abandoned car and not have to have that be an action or a full movement. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know that there's necessarily a good way to represent gunfire versus melee if you can dodge the gunfire.
I agree for the most part, but except for on, I think all of my damaging.
I thought you were gonna say, I agree for the most part, except for all of it.
I think on hemorrhage and life leech, which are my two psyker spells that deal damage to other people, they can still, without having taken a preemptive action, do a roll to resist those effects. I feel like the warp is like maybe not the same as a bullet, but like I'd still be pretty powerless against it. I feel like I guess it just feels weird to me that gunfire is the one thing that you can't have any say in reactively, but melee attacks and psyker spells you can.
I think it's just like the innately what they are, like if there's someone there who's coming at you with a knife, like you can do something about it. If there's someone across the room with a gun, like you're not going to be able to make a decision to dodge it like as they're pulling the trigger. You either have to like see he's got the gun and like duck for cover, or hope that he just doesn't hit you.
Yeah, but how do you dodge my hemorrhage spell?
Okay.
Because it's not that you dodge it. You're like you're built different. Like you're willing it not to affect you.
So I don't know if you need like a talent or something. So dodge is an action,
Mhm.
but then when you go to, what was it, page 199,
Listeners following at home, 199.
you can see reactions. The most common form of reaction is attempting to dodge a ranged attack.
Oh, never mind, listeners. I guess I was wrong. I nerfed myself.
No, I nerfed you guys because
We've
it's
been
an
mad about
action, but
this
it's
for
also
no
a
reason.
reaction.
Dude, I had no idea.
Yeah,
Huh.
Just because we can't read?
Yeah, never mind. I take it all back. This game's sick.
Dodge isn't that strong though.
The reaction or the action?
I guess they're the same thing.
Yeah, because it just was it. It doesn't even like. I don't remember what I've never dodged in my life.
Dodge, you make a dodge attempt, and then your positive success levels are applied to as negative success
That's
levels
right.
to their attack,
Okay.
potentially reducing damage or making the attack miss.
Yeah.
But that's worse, I think, than. Well, I mean, like it's still a possible benefit, right? But it's not as impactful as like parrying in melee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, why not?
I don't know.
Isn't it
doesn't
literally
feel like
the
that.
same thing?
No.
It is the same thing.
It is the exact same thing.
Same,
Same, but
mathematically.
with a different characteristic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why was it the same thing?
Because if Phil comes to hit me and I perfect parry, I don't do damage to him. I just don't get hit. If I perfect dodge, I just don't get hit. Right?
Right.
Yeah,
But
if
the
he gets
calculation is
to-
different because
Is
with
it?
melee, it's an opposed test.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I use my successes. Like he has to beat me. That's the same as applying my successes negatively to him.
No.
Why?
Because an opposed test, you can fail your test and still effectively parry.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
So if I fail my parry worse than you fail your attack, you still hit me.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that
Whereas
makes sense.
if I fail my dodge and you fail your shot, you still miss me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I do see what you're saying. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little.
Huh.
I still
But
think,
I think that's where I would be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because melee versus gun.
yeah.
I think not being able to react at all, which we now know isn't the case.
Yeah, I'm curious, like what other reactions you have now, because I'm not.
Be great to have a little combat cheat sheet.
Yeah, maybe a combat cheat sheet or something would be kind of nice to figure that one out. Because like all that it says for the reactions is dodge a ranged attack or deny the witch. But like, is there other stuff to do?
Probably.
You can go shock Pikachu face, like oh,
Right?
Oh, there we go.
Crying
Crying is a
Golly.
reaction.
Trying is a reaction.
Yeah. So I think that just needs to be on a cheat sheet for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But this is again where I'm saying about like the weird bloat of it.
Mhm.
Not, I mean, like it's in the right spot, but it's like further hidden in the paragraph. So you're kind of like, okay.
Yeah. All that said though, like personally, I feel like for this being a first edition, this is pretty great as
Yeah.
like a start. So like, fix the character sheet and give some cheat sheets, and then I would be happy
Same.
with the second edition being just those
Mhm.
changes and calling it good, like so I think that's
Yeah.
pretty great in and of itself, that like these things that we are being that we're like picking apart. I don't want to say we're being nitpicky because like some of them are pretty rough, but like there have been plenty of games that we've played that needed a lot more revision in my
Mhm.
opinion. So I'm happy with this like as a first edition, and I'm excited for other editions to hopefully come out and fix these things.
Yeah, I think a lot of our the things that we had issues with aren't mechanics issues.
Yeah.
They were, organizational issues, which, they created a whole new game when they made this thing. There, bound to be a few of those, and if our major complaints are organizational, then those are very easily corrected.
Yes.
They could even just release a new character sheet online or something like that.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Dude,
And like 75% of our problems are solved.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Totally agree.
Just give me some PDFs, man.
Yeah. And like, what a lovely thing to have
Mm-hmm.
as a game with like great mechanics.
Yep.
It just needs those types of revisions, like you're saying. Like it's a lot harder when you have a game where the mechanics are buns.
Mm-hmm.
So
But you have a really cool character sheet.
Or the setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is
this is a fun
90
game,
It's like
but
the
I
best
hate
problem
the
to
lore.
have.
Yeah.
yeah.
The cool thing, Joseph, I see you looking at the map for this game.
I
A good chunk of the like GM section of this book takes like it picks like certain planets that are in the Macarian sector, and then
Mhm.
just gives you just like a brief lore dump of what's going on there, and like maybe how you can interact with it, which is
Cool.
really cool. But yeah, it is nice that it's just organization. That's the main problem there. Any closing thoughts before we move on to what to steal?
I
Just-
have one last thing. There are some typos.
There are
Mm.
typos.
Please fix that. A
Please
lot of them
fix-
are like you didn't put a space after your period when you started the next sentence, and I get that is nitpicky. Please fix that. The end.
The
Feel
other
free.
thing with that though is, hey there, sometimes you reference a specialization that does not exist. If you could fix that, that'd be really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think
Really?
we only encountered that once or twice.
Okay, but that's
Um,
1 or 2 times too many.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's
probably that
wild.
someone was writing that section while someone else was like modifying the
Yeah.
specialization.
Oh, they did the git merge, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
all that being said, this is one of my favorite games that we've played.
Yes.
It is like top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
This game
I was
fucks.
so bummed that I didn't get to play the whole time, but the time that I did get to play, I had so much fun, and I
Mhm.
looked forward to
It's so
every.
good.
Like it never felt too slow. It never felt like it was going too fast. And I know that part, like a lot of that is Damien,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but like the game really lends itself to being like pacing it really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like if I praise Call of Cthulhu a lot because of its mechanics, and I would put this on a similar level. Like honestly, this game is probably over Call of Cthulhu for me, just because I like the mechanics
Okay.
and the settings better. Like
Mhm.
both of those
Yeah.
things together.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not a like I could play this game every day for the rest of my life, and I'd still want more. Call of Cthulhu, I'd be sad after a while, and I'd be like, I need a week break.
Yeah, I get that.
That's because it's a little emotionally draining.
Well, sure, but I also like. I mean, I'm a bigger fan of like the closer to fantasy stuff, and this is closer to what I like than Call of Cthulhu is. That's not like a
Yeah.
game thing. That's just like a me thing.
Mhm.
I would also say, in comparison to Call of Cthulhu, the only other like, well, the D100 system that we played previously.
Yes.
With Call of Cthulhu, you measure your tier of success by half and fifth values, which is
Mhm.
math, and we don't like that shit. Whereas this is just by success levels, so whatever the tens place is, like that's a lot easier math.
I agree.
to
Yeah,
gauge
counting
the
down
success.
is easier than like dividing by a fifth,
Yeah.
Mhm.
generally speaking.
Yeah. I mean, it does help that that's already like on your character sheet for Call of Cthulhu. So I
And
think
it has that PDF.
Yeah.
It does
Yeah.
the math for you.
But yeah, I agree. This is one of my favorite games that we've played, and
It did. I was going to say it did feel like it was like combat didn't feel like it got like bogged down when there wasn't combat. It didn't feel like it was boring. Like it felt like all throughout it, like each of the different aspects of a role playing game felt like they were handled in a smooth way with the mechanics of this game. And obviously we had a really great GM over here, so
And
that helped.
Great players.
And
You
I
all
was there
get-
too.
You all get praise as well, and you too, Phil.
I was
Yeah,
there
friend.
as well.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to praise. Sorry, I know we're past this.
No.
I really enjoyed more than I thought I would the critical wound system and how it made it feel like for me it was like easier not to get one shot. Like I felt like I had a better gauge at where I am health wise, and like opponent wise, because it's like instead of just like getting hit really hard at one time and then being knocked down and then praying to God I roll well on my death saves. Sorry, praying to the Emperor.
Same.
I felt like I could take a serious hit, evaluate my critical wound, and then be like, yeah, I'm a little bit out of my depth, and then get the fuck out. I never did that because I zeal, right? But like,
Because you're built
I just
different.
really enjoyed the critical wound system. I didn't think I would coming into the game, but I thought it was really cool. It also made it cool because it's like you didn't know how many hit points the enemies had. You just knew like, hey, he's taking one crit, and he ain't dead, so he's not like a
Mhm.
troop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I really like that.
I
Me too.
agree, but fix the bleed stuff that was confusing.
That was kind of
Yeah.
confusing,
I like the way they did critical wounds too, like, because a lot of times when you get a critical wound, you're like, I'm gonna die.
I'm cooked.
In a lot of games, you're like,
Yeah.
this means I'm on my way to death. But then it's like, no, you're and this
Yeah,
might
yours
be
just
because I had
gone.
a toughness 4,
Mm.
so I felt a lot more like, or toughness 40 something. So I felt
Yeah,
a
your
lot more
yeah,
like,
threshold was
I'm
higher.
not gonna die. I'll be fine.
I had to like train my way of thinking to be like number on my thing. My wounds is 9. I don't die on damage number 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
0 is not.
Yeah.
And I am not
I-
unconscious either. I
Dude, it's
am
so
just
wild to me that
bleeding.
you guys count down.
I
You
don't
guys are
know what
weird.
you mean.
Yeah, I think I still would need more time with the system to wrap my head around that, because so many systems are different
Mhm.
than that, where it's like you reach 0, you're dead. So like,
Mhm.
Or at least unconscious.
yeah, and I liked that I wasn't, but like
Mhm.
I wasn't. My brain didn't comprehend how
Mhm.
that worked very well. So
I do have one negative that I want to throw out there.
Oh, okay.
Say, for instance, I'm
For
not
instance.
me.
Mhm.
I am GM Z.
Lamian.
I
Wait.
am, my alter ego, Lamian.
Yeah, I didn't mean.
So Lamian here is GMing. Might not be the most experienced GM. And then I am not quite adept at including goals into the story. Because of the way that the game is written, your character's not really gaining XP, which is going to be kind of a feel bad.
Yeah,
So locking
that
it
would suck.
entirely behind goals, I feel like maybe if you did like, a few XP out for like completing a mission, because you are doing shit, right? It might not be the shit that you care about, but you're still doing shit, getting like some level of experience. So that might be a benefit, but like locking all of it behind goals is kind of
I do see.
Right.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't realize.
I was gonna say, I think that, but along those lines, you also have the ability as a player to change your goals. So if you see that, like, like, oh, I want my goal is to meet, a ship's captain, and all of a sudden you realize like you're just going from planet to planet on these like shuttles, and you're not seeing captains. You could be like, what are the odds of me like getting onto a ship to see the captain? And the GM could be like, probably no time soon. And then the players have the opportunity then to change their goals, because ideally your goals, especially the short-term goals, should be related to what it is that you're kind of operating on and doing. And I guess, but also that said, as the GM, if you feel like they're not progressing as much as you want, you obviously have the flexibility always to just be like, everyone gets another 100 XP, because you did that a couple times with us where you're like, hey, you get a couple XP because you were able to do this thing,
Mhm.
And I know it's not explicitly said in the rules, but that's kind of part of being in a TTRPG, is the ability that, the GM is the all-knowing authority on what happens.
yeah, I agree.
Wesley?
Violently
sorry.
had a nose.
I do see your point of view, Lamian. Lamian's also ego.
Oh,
And-
hold on.
Oh fuck, we're
Oh wow!
Whoa.
he took off
Glasses
his
are off.
glasses.
He's been
Man,
Superman the whole time.
Read the book. That's why.
I do understand that point of view, and I think it's totally valid. I think I would prefer to be at a table that didn't do that, because I think we've all been D&D pilled to expect XP every day, and I kind of like the idea that and I agree with Phil, like if I never achieve my goals, I should have a conversation with my DM. But I like the idea of, I have these two things I'm trying to do in the short term. If I didn't do either of them this session, I just don't get XP this session. I think that should be more normalized. I think we're all we're like cats in the morning, and we expect our kibble, and then when we don't get it, we starve to death. I think we need to train ourselves out of that mindset.
No, I think that's a good point. Sorry, Damien here again.
No,
The glasses are
guy
on.
earlier, bro.
Dude, he's
We
on.
can't even read the book.
I think that's a good point.
That was a little bit
I do like the system. It's just I feel that for GMs who might not be as equipped to interweave extra stuff into their story, might struggle with it a little bit, maybe just at first, but as you get a little bit more seasoned, get that salt on there.
Yeah, that paprika.
All right, it's interesting that like you're like get a little more seasoned, and then you just said salt. As
Yeah,
if
because
that's,
before
like,
it had nothing.
Yeah.
Salt's better than nothing.
I guess.
What is
Yeah.
salt if not a seasoning?
Yeah. What is it?
I mean, it is, but it's like the most base. Okay, never mind. That's not the point. I know you gave away random experience because I did. Because when I was editing, I heard you give them experience, and then I was like, "Where's my?" It was like, I was like, "He didn't give that to me."
Yeah, bro, you were knocked out.
Yeah, I was busy killing people.
Wow,
That's
Damien.
experience, baby.
Next time, don't bang your head when I try to catch you.
No, that was a different time.
Yeah, you
First time I was gone.
I do think that can also be mitigated by like if you're saying like, hey, I'm not gonna fucking make great swings.
Mhm.
So like this is a general flow, like this is what the overarching campaign is. Your short-term goal should be like kill a guy, do a
Yeah.
backflip, find this building that's central to the campaign. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of mitigate it by just letting them know like the kind of campaign you're running. Kind of like Phil was saying, like, hey, if I'm never going to talk to like any high-ranking official, I probably shouldn't make that my short-term goal.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I think if someone's like, I really want the Sword of Doom, now they have to come up with this whole quest line for the Sword of Doom. I might not never get that goal right.
Yeah.
But tomato, potato.
Just wanted to voice that piece. Any other negatives? Any last-minute positives before we
Do you?
proceed? No, you guys.
Oh,
Honestly, you guys did make running this game easy.
yeah. I'm a delight to be
I-
It's a
around.
great
I was also there.
No,
No,
no. You do not get to do that. I'm just sitting back in the background, painting these fucking great mini and having a super interesting character. But no, woe is me, just back here doing nothing.
Yeah,
Also,
Phil.
while we're praising Phil, dude, you roleplay quite well.
Yes.
Gore
Like-
held the
Thank
team together.
Yeah, and also like I feel like for a lot of people, like it can be kind of weird, like because you don't roleplay often nowadays, right? Like you,
No, I don't. Yeah.
and so it can be kind of weird, like getting back into it, let alone getting into it with a table that you haven't played with before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were just like, hey, I'm Gore. I'm gonna awkwardly wave at you from outside this train. Like you were like, it was very like, it encouraged me to want to stay in character, like watching you roleplay. Like you were very good at like, I'm Gore. Hello.
Yeah, and I genuinely wanted to say this on mic, so I'm glad that we're doing this
Saying
now.
this on mic.
But, like, I really appreciate that you just make decisions and you roll with it, because we often get stun locked trying to make the best decision, quote unquote, and like that I think is one of our downfalls as a table, is just that we're like, we try so hard to not have consequences for some reason, which is silly. And I loved being able to play with you because that reminded me that we do that, because you were like, yeah, there's going to be consequences. Oh, well. And I'm excited to like try and remember that like in the future, because I'm not good at remembering that. And sometimes like the story just needs to progress. Goodness gracious, let's go.
Dude, like the whole time you were saying that, I kept thinking about the library. It was like, this is stupid. I'm gonna walk. Like, but what the fuck am I filling out paperwork?
Yeah. In another alternate universe, Gore does not walk past, and we just spend an
We're
entire
still
session
there.
filling out paperwork.
For real. So I really appreciated that. I feel like that was a really helpful dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listeners, I am beat red right now, as that's I appreciate hearing that. Thank you. I had a blast, so it was a lot of fun to be able to do it. So,
Good.
and you guys took all of my weirdness, like, which was great.
With that, let's go ahead and just talk about what we would steal from this. And because I'm selfish, I'm going first.
Goals.
Uh,
I'll steal the book. Stealing the book.
Welcome to Goals About It.
Probably expensive.
the thing that I would steal from this is tiered success causing additional damage. I think that's fucking awesome. The more that you succeed in a roll, the more damage that you end up dealing. And sure, it's 1 or 2, but that feels fucking great. Like, I know that Pathfinder 2nd Edition has something a little bit like that, with the like crit success being like beating this the check by 10 or more.
Mm-hmm.
which is really good. But imagine if every 5 by which you beat it, you're dealing an extra +1 damage. Then you're like every single roll matters.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it like if you end up playing a D4 rolling type character, sometimes it really sucks because you'll get a great hit and then you're like 1 damage, cool.
Mhm.
But being able to be like, ooh, actually, it was such a good hit. I'm going to be able to do 5 damage because I got a really good spot on their internal organs or something. You know, like
Yeah.
That's really nice because that happens a lot when you play more support type characters. Like you don't really get to feel cool. So I like that.
Or,
that helps.
For Pathfinder First Edition, for instance, if you were playing a dex-based character, you're not adding your dex to your damage, you're adding your strength to your damage.
Mhm.
So having it be where like you're still dealing a bit of extra damage because you're rolling so well to hit, you're getting that like key spot chink in their armor, or like you're just so strong that you're just like breaking through their armor. Like that's rad.
Yeah, I also like it because, and this ties back into the XP buy system, but it gives you a reason to keep leveling that skill. Like you can get to a point where you have a 66% chance to hit, right? Like you just need a 66% roll, and you might be like, I'm good. And maybe you're good, right? That's still pretty high, but if you keep leveling your strength, like once you get to 70, you're getting +1 damage every time. Once you get to 80, you're getting +1 damage every time on average, like whatever math. But there's a reason to keep like leveling any one skill to get those extra bits of damage when you can, and make it so that if someone manages to beat you somehow with 75 strength, you're taking less damage, right?
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. That I feel like I can just I can pick a skill and get really good at that thing and go crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't do that, but I could have.
It also makes like rolling really well in an attack or something that you're doing feel so much better. You know, like if it doesn't matter if you succeed and you're doing the same thing no matter what, unless you roll like the only other way is like previously was like you roll a 1.
Yep.
Would be the only way that you have like it's either a crit or a success. Like having that tiered success, like a 16 feels so much better rolling it than a 26, you know, and a 26 feels so much better than like a 46, even though all of those might be successes. Like all those rolls rolling really well just like hits different, and it feels good when you have a consequence for the exact number that you're rolling,
especially in a game like this where the wound threshold matters, right? So like knocking them over that 1 extra point might give them their first critical wound, which could be big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I would steal. Who would like to go next?
Do you want to go?
I got it.
He's got it.
Critical wounds.
I said, what?
I really like having descriptive injuries that aren't just hit points.
Yeah.
And the critical wound and hit locations like being used together was such a good system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, along that lines, like the wound system in general, just rolling and having everything done in one roll is wonderful.
Beautiful.
Because the hit location's there.
Sensational.
The amount of damage is there. Like everything is in that one roll. And like I can be a dice goblin at times, but this was just so concise. It made combat go really quick. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I also, sorry. I was going to say, I what I would steal is the one type of dice that you're rolling. Like have everything just be that one type of dice, so you're not like, oh, which one is it? Is this a D12? Do I need a D6? Like, can someone borrow? I can't find my other one. It's like, oh, I thought I was rolling at this, but it's like the wrong one. You just have the same set of dice that you're rolling. You can have multiples if you believe in like dice luck, you know, or you could stick to the same one stubbornly despite everyone trying to give you more dice. Misty, Wesley, but like, you know, it's just like it was like the one D100. That's all you needed. That's all you had to roll, and then you could buy more D100s to be the, you know, to feed the dice goblin inside of you. But you didn't have to have like keep in mind all the different ones. It's like, oh, well, which weapon am I using? Do I need a different dice? I like having just one set of dice. That's all you roll. You don't need to remember and look for different ones.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Me?
Yeah.
Did you think I have a nose?
No,
you just want me to go?
For next.
Yeah, someone
Okay.
needs to go.
Yeah, sorry. we had a weird moment of silence last night.
Yeah,
It was
this
really
was
awkward.
kinda-
Yeah. Damien was just making faces and pointing at people. Like, not weird faces. He was just like, you? And we were all like, no. What?
Yeah, I'd steal the goals. I think. I
What?
mean,
That's surprising.
yeah, I never said this before.
I can't believe that. Sorry.
I just really like. Well, even if you're not using them for XP purposes, I just really like how it gives. It just like it does a lot of my favorite things. It gives the DM an idea of what that character wants to do. It gives the player the idea of like where their character is currently and like what their present like objectives are and their long-term objectives if you have long-term goals. And it kind of gives everyone that like North Star to be like, this is what I'm currently thinking of. And then if you ever fall out of alignment with that, you can just change your goals. But it's a good like pulse check on you as a player, what your character wants, and you as a DM, what your players want as a whole.
Mhm.
And I think it's sick. Bonus points, I think, if you're willing to break the mold and start giving your party XP at different intervals. But you don't gotta do that. That's like we're ahead of our time on that one. So
Yeah.
On the GM sheet, right dead center in the entire page is short-term goals and long-term goals for the
Oh.
people in your party.
Nice.
That's
Awesome.
really cool.
Yeah,
There's
until they don't fit
certainly not
anymore.
enough room.
Yeah.
Certainly not enough room.
Agreed.
Like, I'm not saying that as like a joke about he
There-
showed us
there's not
there's
a
not
lot of
enough room.
room.
Yeah, it's like an inch by an inch. Like you.
It's
there's
not.
no room.
That was dramatic.
Yeah.
I'd say that's like 2x2,
Okay, 2 by 2.
2 by 1.5.
4x4.
It does feel like Cubicle 7, their character sheet design was their dumb stat. So
Yes.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Right.
This is for you, Phil.
Oh.
Oh,
Look
I was like, what do you mean? From my perspective, Damien's just holding up the paper.
From my point of
But then
view,
I
the
saw, I
Jedi
looked at
are
the screen.
evil.
He was showing Phil.
Yeah, and I appreciate it.
I think that's what I would steal too is the goals. And Wesley's like, you can't have the same one as me.
Guys, I called dibs.
I don't care.
Listeners, Missy doesn't respect dibs.
That's not true.
You
That's
just said you
No,
didn't
she
care.
that's
No, she just
not
doesn't
what
respect
I did.
you.
Oh.
I just think that's so
It's sick,
helpful in
yeah.
so many ways, and it would be
Mhm.
very easy to incorporate into any game that you're playing. So like if I were to steal anything, that's probably what I would steal.
Except for that one game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every other game for sure.
Mhm.
sure.
But we don't talk about that one game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I if I can't do that one, then I would also steal from what Joseph was saying. I like being able to have combat be seamless and have my actual like potential to succeed and the damage in one roll because I don't like doing math. So
Yeah, the one I was thinking too. I was like, I wonder if you could do that with any other dice. Like, I feel like it would be really hard
Mm-hmm.
to like have a game that only uses a D12. I think with the D100, it's easier because you have like a tens and a ones place.
Yeah.
I
I think if you had two like different colored,
yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
you could do like two D20s and have them be like one is
for
one
this thing,
one is
yeah.
one that
Mhm.
because that's essentially what Fallout does is after you roll your hit, you then roll on that other die for hit location.
Mm.
So like if you rolled everything together, I know it's a very different system, but you would have the hit location there
Be a separate
on
color.
that die.
Yeah.
anything from you, Stevie, that you'd steal?
Besides the book.
My answer was the goals. I really like the goals.
Mhm.
I like. You always feel like you have something that you're working towards, even if you're kind of in between missions.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes
Mhm.
the downtime enjoyable.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a great point. Yeah, it makes downtime not feel like a waste of time.
Yeah, it's not. It's more than just like I slept, so I healed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, okay, we did the 8-hour rest, let's go. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna go help Katrina find the person that randomly stabbed her.
Is
Is that what you did?
I
Yeah.
get 1+1 influence with Katrina because of that. That's cool.
I'm gonna change mine since everyone likes whatever I said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's
Um,
wild. Okay.
You bringing that
have
up,
to be different.
so I guess I'm kind of
It's this whole thing.
yeah, I am different. But with the downtime events, I do really like how they have benefits. Like it's like Even like praying to the Emperor to possibly get a fate point back, like giving like clerics time to pray for a possible boon, giving like people like time to practice together for like advantage on a roll, like even like I don't know, like some rogue does recon, you get superiority levels, like having like instead of just being like here's your 8th shopping episode, being able to be like, hey, like here's the current like mission objective. We're in between quests right now. If there's anything you guys can think of to do in between that might benefit you in literally any way, we can do that, and then we can see about how that would benefit you going forward. I think is really cool.
Yeah, I totally agree. I forgot about that,
Same.
which I feel bad about because
Same.
I loved that aspect of the game.
Same.
And I do wish that more games did that
Yeah,
because
the downtime didn't feel like an afterthought.
No.
Yeah,
And it was like-
sometimes downtime isn't needed for like the players themselves, not just the characters. Sometimes it's really nice to have like a chill session where like you're still working towards something, but you're not like in combat actively, you know?
Mhm.
And so I feel like that's another one that would be really easy to steal for like any game, is just having like purposeful rest time in between major missions, and like having like a system for that.
Yeah, it also makes it easier, I feel like, for to build interplayer relations. Like a lot of our like dumb bullshit moments were during those downtime events, right? Like that's the whole reason we PvP'd in the first place. You know what I mean? And that was like sick.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, speak for yourself about not doing combat in the middle of downtime.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But
Yeah. I mean, I did that twice. There was that, and then I shot that guy down in the bottom for Drusilla. So it's like all my downtime was combat.
I appreciate you killing that guy for me. I didn't want to.
Yeah, it's cool. It can give you a benefit. It can give you like reprieve, and it can help your like you like kind of like suss out how your character feels about the other characters, which I think is really cool.
Sweet. Yeah. The one last thing that I wanted to mention, because I forgot, your patron's liabilities. For every boon that you took, your patron had a liability. So I just wanted to quickly talk about them. So as a reminder, the boons that you gained were a void ship that you were able to use, contrabandist, so you could ask for any item before a mission, you'll get it half off afterwards. Voidsman training facility, so it was cheaper to upgrade some specializations, and then xenotechnician because he likes xeno stuff. His liabilities, we're going to start from the bottom here. Shoddy supplies, so all equipment given by him has the shoddy flaw, so you can request
like a melody in my head.
I don't know why I never heard that before, but today when you were saying it,
yeah, that's so basically you could contrabandist request supplies from him, and then he will give you a shoddy item.
That is the tag, right? Like that's the keyword.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Which gives
It's
minus
a
1
monkey's paw.
success level to any test with it, and minus 2 armor to a minimum of 1 if it's an armor based thing. So
But
really
it's half
bad.
off.
This one I didn't really use because I just didn't want to add this extra wrinkle and kind of make this go on longer than it already has. Territorial wants you to set up bases of operation whenever possible. We'll take up time during and between missions.
Oh,
Oh.
So it would have you like set up little, rogue trader vendor kind of stations, something like that, storage facilities, whatever. Rumored dead. I mentioned this briefly,
Our
but
patient's dead.
people think he's dead. If you try and use your patron's influence, you got to make a rapport charm check to convince people that he is in fact alive. What I did
that's
is
awesome.
behind the scenes, I rolled a d10, and if you got, I think it was 5 or below, they would think he's dead. It never
That's-
came up, but
Dang it, that's really
That's
funny.
so
I'm
funny.
imagining him being like, "We're here first." Lord Militant Chore to the Eldari, and then they're just like, "Isn't he?
Isn't that guy
dead?
dead? Shut up! Yeah.
Who are you really?
He's dead?
No, bro. I talked to him this morning. I swear he's fine. He had eggs and spam.
yeah. So
That was
in one of the
20 years
episodes,
ago.
I mentioned that he's like on a Vox call with someone, just being like, "Why do they think I'm dead?" No,
I
Oh,
do
you
remember
did say that.
I do remember that, yeah.
I remembered that. I remember a lot of things because I edit.
Yeah, name everything
Even
right
if I'm
now.
not there, everything.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Dang,
Yeah.
Wow.
got you there.
She got you.
The
Yeah.
last one was Dangerous Debt. Owes a
Oh.
debt to a noble working in the Adeptus Administratum, named Amity Halachin.
Yep.
It's the ship that you're currently on. Was Amity's, but after an affair with Solomon Tror,
Oh.
he managed to get the ship thinking it was a gift, but it was definitely not. She was expecting favors. So
Ooh.
what was going to happen is you guys go to that dome, you get that second kind of scroll thing, but you're needing a little bit more information to fully decipher it, and then Solomon Tror calls you up and is like, hey, I need you to do a job for me. You go to Pleasure World, you have to kill a guy for Amity, but through Solomon. And then you're like, oh, what the fuck was that about? That was really random. And then you come back, and that's when the Gene Stealer Cult Uprising is happening. But you have to go in and infiltrate, get the information, pull out.
Can you imagine that phone call and being like, "Hey, do you have my ship? Yeah, you said I could have it. No, the fuck I did. Give it back." And it's like, "Oh, dude, I'm already gone. Like,
This is really awkward.
I got a crew and shit. I hired these freaks."
Well, unbeknownst to Solomon, maybe a romantic at heart. Amity was
Same.
just using it the whole time.
Oh,
Aw, I feel kind of bad for him.
yeah.
Not that bad.
He's just
I can't give it back. I've already gone for gore.
But yeah, so those were the liabilities, and that was Imperium, Maledictum, Occulti, Emergentium, a creation of
Woo!
powers.
Yippee!
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
dude.
You did
That
it.
was a good time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, we need to go back through our last questions. We did what to steal.
Yep.
GM, do you think this is a first-time GM type game or not?
I do not think so.
Mm.
I think that the fact that you have to like interweave goals in order to like make sure that it's a complete cohesive story for your players is a bit difficult. I think that the setting, though it is impeccable,
Love it.
is
Imperium.
a lot to get through.
Yes.
So having like some of that background information is almost necessary to run this game. I'm saying almost because I think you can run it without that background information. It just might not have the same kind of a feel, and you might just be all like, "Oh yeah, the tech priests, yeah, they got robots with like AI and shit." And little do you know that that's like a big no-no.
It's not AI, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone's gonna know the lore, it should be the DM, like the GM.
Yep.
Like they need to know the lore, and then it just helps having one of the players so they can react to all their like little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you can look over see Phil with his shocked Pikachu face, being like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you know,
Or
like, I was like,
Titan
oh,
belt, and I was like, "Yes,
yeah,
fuck
yeah."
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
get that reference.
because
Exactly.
Steelers."
Gene, no.
Stealing the jeans.
That's just puns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not knowing the.
That's literally all I am. It's just one big pun.
Yeah, at the time he hadn't said Gene Stealer yet. But
But yeah, because of the
Oh, okay.
setting, it was a little bit more difficult. And then I would also argue that there's maybe a little bit of growing pains at the most for switching from your standard D20 system to the D100 system.
Mhm, mhm.
But that's probably just a generic thing.
I just want to kind of like, I almost said dive deep. That's a term I use at work and I hate it. But I guess dive deep. Those last two I don't feel like are how do I say this? Aren't related to whether or not you've DM'd another game before. And I would argue that last one you don't have if you haven't DM'd another game before. And so it's like, I understand. I do it like I agree with the goal stuff, how that could be hard to weave. But like your knowledge of Warhammer lore has nothing to do with whether or not you've ever DM'd a TTRPG in your life. And your inexperience jumping from one system to this system is inexistent if you've never played another TTRPG before. Right?
Fair. But first time playing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can say Dungeons and Dragons, hey, you seen Lord of the Rings? You've at least got some kind of a general concept.
Sure. Yeah, but sorry, what I'm getting at is you can read all the Warhammer books / play the game and have never DM'd, and you will have the lore you need to run this game.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's fair and valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, no. Now it's
Yeah.
processing.
Because
The
she said,
information
"Is this good
getting
for first time
fed in.
DMs?" And like Phil, I don't know if Phil's ever DM'd, but he would have all the lore knowledge if he hadn't, right, to run this game.
Yeah, but
yeah.
that is a prerequisite, I would say, for this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can get the information from elsewhere, you might have the information already coming to this game. But if you're fresh off the block,
Never nerded in your life.
never nerded in my life, let's go for some Warhammer. Like, you're gonna have a little bit of a struggle. As far as the dice system goes, I would also argue that there's not as many resources for D100 based systems to like help you figure stuff out. There's not a lot of like online, just not a lot of like online kinds of
That's
resources.
valid.
Yeah.
And also, presumably, if you're a first time DM, you're probably not a first time TTRPG player. Like I don't know. When I hear first time GM, I don't think this is the first time you've ever had any interaction with a TTRPG. Like, my assumption is that you've probably played a game, so you have experience with something other than Imperium Maledictum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. Sometimes that's not the case, but a lot of the time you've at least dabbled in playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from the player's perspective, I do not think this is a good baby's first TTRPG.
Yeah.
With like a little asterisk, like if you are really into Warhammer and all of those stats already, this will be a pretty easy transition. So I think if you have done TTRPGs or Warhammer before, I think you have enough dice rolling experience and like doing the maths that you could pick this up. I still wouldn't recommend it as like your first, but your like second or third TTRPG, yeah, sure.
I guess half-heartedly agree and half-heartedly disagree, only because I feel like using D&D as a baseline, I feel like this game is significantly easier to play than D&D.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And so I feel like and maybe that's only like a conversation about like D&D is probably not the best baseline. But I feel like, kind of like Stevie was saying earlier, I feel like most of the stress or the pains is like front loaded. But once you've made your character, like just a day-to-day playing is significantly easier than it is trying to play like D&D and or Pathfinder like session to session.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's also because it only uses the one set of dice. It's mechanically a lot easier to do. So you can focus on the other aspects without also having to figure out if you're rolling the right dice or like having to ask like which one's the D12. Like if you're not a dice goblin, or you could just roll that one D100 that I found that looks like a golf ball, basically.
Hey, I rolled a 1 on that, so I'm happy.
You did. I know. Most people rolled well with them, and that's why I was pretty happy about it. If just Misty and Wesley had just agreed to use it.
Hey,
I'm staring them down right now for you.
I know.
no, you can't do that.
But I like, because it's only the 2 dice that you have to roll, like I feel like that that takes like a whole level of thinking and thought process out of the equation. Like you're only ever rolling those 2 dice, that you can just like focus on the other things at that point, which makes it easier to like learn and then allows you to do things like, get yourself into the role playing and think about the other steps that you need to do, because you don't have to worry about this. Like, it's just those 2 dice. Anytime you have to roll, it's those 2 dice. You're not like, oh, well, which dice do I roll? Like, which ones are this? It's like, oh, I rolled that, but now I have to roll a different type with only if I do this, and then I have to do that. Like it keeps it simple. You're like, those 2 dice, that's it. You're only ever rolling those. If you're really good at it, you can switch places for the better. If you're really bad at it, switch places for the worse. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. That's all you have to do. So I think it's because it's mechanically very simple, it becomes easier to like approach the other aspects of the game that make it a TTRPG.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah. I think overall verdict then is for a GM, probably not your first one, unless, don't fucking listen to us. If you want this to be your first, like, go for
Pop
it.
off.
Yeah, let us know how it goes. Like, genuinely. That sounded probably facetious. I like, genuinely, if you do, let us know.
Yeah.
Because maybe we're totally wrong and it's actually really easy as your first one.
If you do, at me on Discord, because I kind of like the player thing, I think it would be better than D&D if this was
Okay.
your first game DMing. Well, I say that coming from nothing. Like Phil's right, you've probably TTRPG'd before.
Mhm.
And if you're coming from D&D, then sure, this is like growing pains. But if you've never read a TTRPG book in your life, I think this game is easier than D&D, like in most regards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
Right.
Far more mechanically simple. I also think that if this is your first TTRPG, you're probably coming from Warhammer. Like that's to me, that's the only reason that you pick this up versus any other role-playing TTRPG is that you're coming from Warhammer. If this is your first foray into role-playing, in which case I think you're in a much better place to be able to make it like a very viable thing. And the fact that the mechanics are so simple makes it easier for you to like make the Warhammer experience that you want to without having to worry about like, oh, well, is this sword a D6 or what is it, a D4? Like, I have no idea what's going on here. Like, I think because it's mechanically simple, and if you're coming from a background of knowledge with Warhammer 40K, that's why you're trying to do this, then yeah, I think it's actually a pretty good foray first step into TTRPG from there.
Yeah. Was there other questions that we missed? Oh, where would we rank this?
20.
I would say I'm not
No
gonna
context. Just 20.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time like discussing my thoughts and overarching opinions. I think this is pretty high up there. Maybe
Same.
top 3 or 4. I would put it in the same category as Pathfinder First Edition. Praise be.
Wow.
And
That's high praise from him.
It
Mhm.
is.
Mutants and Masterminds kind of up there. I really like it. I think it supersedes Mork Borg in the death feels okay
Yeah.
kind of an aspect. Really good.
I would put the setting in my top 3. I would put the game itself in my top 3. I would put the character sheet in my bottom 3.
Yeah.
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 Oh my god, this character sheet.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I didn't think I was going to like the lore or the setting at all. I really, really like it. I think it's sick. I think mechanics wise, it's one of my favorites. I would again say top 3, potentially maybe top 2.
Tied with what?
Well, I mean,
Or
it's not tied,
competing
but
with-
like
Second.
competing
Two.
with Call of Cthulhu.
That's fair.
Maybe I just like D100 system.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Dude, I do.
But like the character sheet buttons, bottom
Yeah.
3, but like definitely top 3 overall for games in general.
I think that this is possibly my favorite. Like I have like emotional attachment to like the World of Darkness role playing system because I spent a lot of time doing that and I have like a lot of like emotional attachment to that, and I am a big fan of their like D10 system that they have there. But this is so much fun. Also, the Warhammer universe is by far, bar none, my favorite lore world to work in. So the fact that I could do like awesome fun role playing in a world where I love, it makes it all the better. So that's again why I think it's like an awesome way for people who love Warhammer, who were TTRPG curious, to like give it a shot. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it really does feel like you're able to just like be a person and a character inside of that universe that you like, you know? So for me, it's like way up there, way up there.
Yeah, I think it's I've been thinking about this for like the past few weeks. I think it's the favorite TTRPG I've played for me personally.
Nice.
I kind of like what we said. I like the mechanics are seamless. They're like my only real gripe is the character sheet, and for me personally, I'll just fucking ignore it. Right? It hits a good blend of me where my characters are strong enough that my DM can give me fights where I feel strong, but weak enough in the overall universe where there are very also clearly things that are just so far above me that I am but a insect. So the hero factor can be messed with, which I enjoy. Again, it's mechanically seamless. It's not my favorite setting. I don't dislike the setting at all. Like I like the setting in the lore a lot. I'm just a really big fantasy guy. But a lot of like what I enjoy about it in the game is that a lot of fantasy games can get carried away with what your players can do. That is exclusively beneficial, and I feel like in this game that doesn't happen aside from like the volcano gun. And even that is like
on spider webs.
yeah, you're right. But like but I couldn't walk on that thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm rambling at this point, but it's my favorite game overall, I think.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, if it was set in like the Lord of the Rings universe, you would be much more of a fan, right?
Yeah, man.
I really like the setting too. Just because I've heard a lot of Warhammer lore from Damien.
Yeah.
And it's nice that like there was stuff when he was talking about like the cultists. I was like, oh, I know what that is. I was so excited, and I know Phil was pogging more than I was for sure. Sometimes when he was like, ah, and I was like, I don't know these references. But okay, Phil's excited. It's something that exists. But I would put this probably in like my top 1 games.
Nice.
Does that? Yeah,
I really like it.
it's quite good.
Yeah.
I really like Call of Cthulhu, but this one just feels a lot more like streamlined.
Yeah.
And I am a simple
Mhm.
person. I like simple things.
Mhm.
I was a little worried because it looked really complicated during character creation, but then like playing was so easy.
Mhm.
Yeah. I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think for me, genuinely, like second or third edition of this game, it will be my number 1.
Yeah.
I just the character sheet bugs me enough that I can't.
Oh
put
yeah,
it
I
there.
hate the character sheet a lot.
Yeah, I did ask with just design
My
own.
character, I
Like,
have more
Mhm.
sticky note than character sheet.
It's true.
It's like actually true.
It's impressive.
But I think that's really cool that we all enjoyed this game that much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That I feel like that's really exciting that we
Mhm.
found a new like game for us that ranks this high for all of us.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
That's
retire
really
the
hard because all of us like very different things. So
Yeah.
we can retire the new and unusual and just become the 40K rejects.
I don't know. I
I mean, we
Phil's
still
down.
I am 100% down. Like,
I think the only other thing we need to talk about is accessibility real quick.
Mhm.
They do have a PDF version,
Mhm.
which I appreciate. I think accessibility wise, the fact that everything that you need to GM and play the game is in one book. I love that.
Mhm.
Character sheet, not accessible. I don't even care if there's a PDF version of that because it still
Ass.
won't
There's
help.
still
Yeah.
not enough room to type things
Um,
in.
Yeah.
So
Put it like size 6 font.
There-
There still won't be room.
There is a PDF version.
yep,
and
still don't care.
It if you put like 1 advance, it auto calculates the +5 on there and everything.
I do like
It's
math
kinda nice.
PDFs.
I do like that.
Yeah,
Still
that's nice.
don't think there's going to be enough room for the things that I want to write in it. But
it auto changes the font size to fit into the space it has there.
That's insane. Can you imagine trying to type up a psycho skill description and you're like, it's just ants?
It's smaller.
are there any other accessibility things that are major for this?
No, we already talked
No.
about the dice.
Mhm.
It only requires 2 dice, yeah.
Yeah, D100 is not hard to find at your local game store.
hmm
Definitely order them online if you need to.
I'll show you where they
I
are,
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wesley. No
Yeah.
worries.
Phil will come to your store and show you what
Yeah.
Show you around.
He's been wrong.
I do like that they have a before you begin section in the Game Master section here.
Oh.
Talking about the golden rule. There's only one piece of advice you
One
take away
piece?
from this
One
chapter. Let it be this one. Always remember that everyone who takes part in your game is there to have fun. If anything you
Oh.
encounter in the rules narrative or setting ruins the fun for your group, you as the GM have the power to change it.
I love that.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't know that it was
Manifest
included.
destiny.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
And then it goes through a couple of session 0 things. I do think that the session 0, it's a little bit bare bones, but it's good that it's in there.
Mhm.
Explicit and implied, tones and themes. Talks about like the grim and perilous, corruption and decay, no happy endings kinds of
Mm.
sections in
Yeah.
there, which is nice.
Sorry, that was really dramatic. The grim and perilous.
No happy endings.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
It's dark.
Warhammer
Yeah.
is dramatic.
Yeah.
Let's
Mhm.
be real. It's
And
just
like,
drama.
if you are in a bad place, maybe this isn't like the best
yeah.
like
Yeah.
to play, right? And
Yeah.
so I really appreciate that in their
Mhm.
session 0 notes,
Mhm.
being like, it sucks, but it's
But
fun.
But that's the fun.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I hear you out there.
Crying.
Screaming.
Oh man.
Oh.
It'd be so cool if I could play Warhammer Imperium Maledictum with only the coolest guys out there. Well, over at Nova Open this year in
Yeah.
August, we are going to be running some games. I will be hosting Imperium Maledictum each night while we're there.
I will be hosting Call of Cthulhu several times. Look at the schedule. I don't know it off the top of my head.
Oh, I'm going to be running Zombicide Chronicles, which is the Zombicide TTRPG. So if you want to kill zombies in the afternoon, hit your girl up.
And we will be having that one on the pod, so if you don't make it out there, we'll be getting to it on here eventually.
I'll be running Nova, not to be confused with the Nova Open.
So funny.
I love it.
know.
It brings joy to my heart.
It's Nova.
Nova,
You
Nova.
Let's play it. We played it here. We played it on the Patreon.
Oh, and
No, you're currently playing on the Patreon.
Oh yeah.
Only I got spoiled.
in mornings, I'm running Fallout. And what?
And I'm running away from any responsibility. You just skipped over me
Those are
The only intelligent one.
because I'm not running anything.
well, you're watching our kid. Like
True. Running the child.
That's the true king, queen, king, queen.
And
Whatever.
Phil, remind me, are you going to be there?
I will be at Nova. I will probably be in the Army Painter booth because I'm a member of the Army Painters factory team. I'll also. I'm going to say this now so that if it may fall through if I don't do it fast enough when I have to register. But my plan is to do the 1-day Necromunda to force myself to learn Necromunda because I've always wanted to make a gang. I've always wanted to do that. So I'm going to be doing the 1-day Necromunda campaign. So,
You're gonna need to
fun.
tell me how that goes because I really want to get those Malstrange Gene Stealers.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly. I'm really excited about it. So I'm looking forward to forcing myself to learn and then forcing my friend Sam Lenz to teach me how to play it. So
Nice.
That's so fun.
Dude,
Awesome.
when you were talking about, I want to play with the coolest guys, I was like, where's he going with this? They can't play with us. I forgot you were right. Specifically
You're like,
at Nova.
yeah, it's like, wait a minute. I thought we were the
I was
coolest
like,
guys.
who are they
Like,
going to
what-
play?
what the heck? Yeah, what the heck?
but it is.
Yeah.
They're my friends. You can't have them.
With that, we've been yapping for a fucking minute.
Yeah, we have.
So-
Dude.
Hey, hi, we're Roleplay Rejects, obviously. We have Patreon, Discord, do those things.
Mhm.
We have a merch store.
We have a merch store.
that's got some stuff with that's in collaboration with Phil. So go check
Oh,
that
yeah.
out if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
enjoy
Yeah.
both of our groups, or if you just really liked this campaign.
Or do it out of spite if you don't like us.
Yeah.
That too.
Hate,
Yeah.
and hate buy our merch, man. Hate
Yeah,
subscribe to
exactly.
the Patreon.
We're like 3.5
Yeah.
hours into this, so that's like
That's hate.
I don't think you
Yeah.
hate us.
Yeah, sign up to the Patreon so you can send messages of hate.
Mhm.
That's what we want to
Oh,
hear.
let's-
Yeah, buy the merch and send it. And
Sense-
yeah, buy the merch.
I'll read it.
Sign up to the Patreon. Take pictures of you burning the merch, and then send those in the Patreon.
Dude, I would love that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you hate us, let me know.
If you're willing to pay money to hate us, I guess, but not like don't your feelings will get hurt.
Also,
just,
that's really wasteful.
it's really
because-
wasteful.
Yeah.
just send
like
it to
when
you,
people-
Lamau, you're stinky. Only I read that. Only Joseph and I read that.
I read that too. LamauYou'reStinky@gmail.com.
all for all your trash.
Do we
emails.
read that? Do we ever?
Although I don't know if you do because I feel like I sent an email there and I never got a
What do
response.
they say?
It forwards to our normal roleplay rejects
I've never
I've
seen
at
that.
never seen
gmail.com. Maybe I need to go check those out.
There's just like line of like messages of people being like, "Does this thing actually work?" I was like, "Oh no."
there is one from Phil on there, so we
See, I told you. I told you.
I've
What's
checked
it
it.
say?
You never responded though.
Okay, we said we'll read it. We never said we'll.
That's a good
That's
point.
fair.
True.
That's fair. That's fair. True.
Anyways, yeah, Patreon. We've got our few like extra bonus campaigns
Mhm.
on there. We're doing replay rejects where we revisit some of the campaigns or game systems that we really liked, and then also make sure to support the Glacial Geek on YouTube.
Oh, I know that guy.
Also, you've got a Patreon as well.
I do indeed. Yeah. So feel free to come on over once you've paid your fees to the Roleplay Rejects there. If you've got some extra money,
The Finder.
you can yeah. Or if you don't want to hurt their feelings, you can buy their merch, sign up for my Patreon, and send me pictures of it being burnt. Then
There we
you know
go.
save
Yeah.
their budget. So, but also here as a special thanks for making me a part of this, and also for the people who have listened to this. If you're still listening at the end of this, you've earned this. If you go to the Army Painter and use the code FactoryGeek5, you're going to get yourself 5% off of any of your orders there. So if you've decided you want to start doing some Imperium Maledictum and you want to paint up some cool minis to go along with it, get yourself some supplies and save yourself some money that way.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Of
that.
course.
I
believe it's time to answer the burning question in everyone's heart.
yeah.
What are we playing next?
What are we playing next?
I
What
don't
are we
know.
playing next?
What are we playing next? Ooh.
So, campaign wise,
I think so. That's what we normally do, right?
Yep.
We skip.
tis Daggerheart.
Tis.
Tis
Yeah.
Daggerheart.
I will bear the dagger in my heart. That is to say, I will be leading that
Which,
game.
by the time this comes out, it was recently released.
Recently
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
We know math. We know time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are calling it the D&D killer.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've been watching some of the reviews on YouTube, and
Guess
they're saying that it is broad enough and also easy enough that it could
Just replace it?
fill the gaping hole that Hasbro has left.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
interesting.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
might be the new gateway. We'll see.
The new Gateway TTRPG?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I
get
was-
to the hard stuff. that
Listeners,
we do.
if
Yeah.
yeah, we've killed D&D a bunch of times.
Yeah, Wesley's got to figure out if he's got to cover up his dragon ampersand tattoo with
Don't
a
tell the
dagger
listeners
heart
I
tattoo.
have that.
He does.
I showed you that in confidence.
So-
That's why I was saying I wish I went first, because I was like, I said that earlier, and everyone was like, why do you say that? Because I'm DMing next, and this was great. And I'm like, what an act to follow.
No, you can do
No, I'm going to fucking kill it. I tell you
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah. With that, thank you all for coming on this journey with us.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's been sick. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Listeners,
It has been.
say bye, Phil. Everyone wish him well.
Yeah.
Go follow him on YouTube. I know, I'm sad
Yeah,
about
follow him on
You'll
YouTube.
never see me again.
Yeah.
After this episode, they're going to take me and put me onto a ship and just sail me off into the
Yeah,
into the
we're
horizon.
actually going to him.
Yeah.
it. Yeah, he's going to go
Traveling.
find
He's
the One
going to
Piece.
go across the ship to a farm. We're going to take him behind the barn.
I'm going to play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. Yeah, no, seriously, it's been great having you.
Thank
This
you.
campaign
Thank
has
you.
been great.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
all
much.
for sticking around
Oh no.
till the
Oh,
end.
I was saying thank you to Phil.
Yeah, thank everyone. Yeah, you're right.
Thank
What the fuck am I
you.
doing?
What
I
are
hate
you
them.
Also-
doing?
Yeah,
Hey, they're stinky, but they're dedicated. If
they're
they're
stinky,
here.
but they're loyal, and I fucks with them.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, because you literally just listened to us talk for like 3.5, 4 hours. We weren't even like playing or telling stories. We were just
There's a
talking.
listener right now folding laundry. Like, yeah, I guess it has been a minute.
Dude, that's
It's
breaking a lot of
I was supposed to pick up the kids from school. Oh God.
3.5 hours. All right, see you guys later. Bing, bing, bob.
later.
Bye.
Bye.
You still stink though.